Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Think Critical YouTube every Saturday morning to talk about the comic books and all that kind of stuff and have a good time. We should have a pretty positive show. We're going to talk about all the good stuff, although I will freely admit that Doc, not reading many new comic books, saw some of the lists that I sent out. Not to tell you what's good, just to tell you what people are talking about. He actually went out and checked them out. Might have checked out Birds of Prey. I apologize for that. That was not my intention. So maybe we'll hear about a few bad comic books out there, but we're going to have some fun. Jim is running about 10 minutes late, but he should be here in the not too distant future. And we do have back with us Rev Sully. How you doing, buddy? I know you had a personal loss.
I'm doing wicked pissa as best as I can, and thank to everyone that sent their good feelings and their prayers and their thoughts and condolences. My mom passed away from lung cancer 2.5 weeks ago, and it was just really, it's touched my family now, and it's touched a lot of our families. So, I mean, just got to keep on living, one foot in front of the other. And I'm blessed to have gone back to work and, get my mind off my mind by doing some just, chef stuff, making the soups, and doing my job. And it's nice. And, but a lot of us, it's amazing that the amount of outreach and outpouring I've gotten. Like, people are just, saying me too. I lost my parent. I lost someone, cancer is really has touched all of us. So, so point on that doll where it touched you and then get back at it.
Well, hopefully we can fill your mind up with some good fun talk about comic books and have a little break with the hobbies and the funny books and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I got funny book. I'm looking forward to today's show because we have some of the best comics of 2024 to turn you on to if you're not tuned in to some of this stuff. So hopefully, yeah, I got a few.
Last weekend you had already bought tickets to WickedCon.
Yeah.
How was it? Did you have a good time? Were you able to have fun?
I did. I ended up going to one of the days. The second day was just, I've been there, done that. The only thing added on Sunday was Phil Jimenez and Sean Gordon Murphy for 2 hours each. And, but it was just, there weren't a lot of big names. I mean, it was Adam Hughes, Simon Bisley. He loves coming to Boston. What a character he is. And yeah, I saw H.H. German of Sigma Comics, and he gave me a copy of his trade paperback.
Live on Kickstarter right now?
Yeah, for Calico. It's called Street Math, Volume 1. So I think it's the first 8 issues all in here, and some good stuff. So if you like The Punisher and if you like violent comics with some justice being meted out by take a chance on Sigma Comics. I'd say so.
And you also ran into a friend of the channel,
Ken Marion. I was just I was coming up to him and I was like, hey, and he was like, Sully? And I'm like, yeah, dude. So he recognized me from the channel. And that's so cool. And so I got to talk to him for a few minutes. I was wearing my Comics Aficionados shirt, so it was easy to spot. And it was a fun time. It was nice, but it is a flea market. It's a glorified flea market. That's all it is. Yet Wicked Boston Comic Con is a lot different than Fan Expo. This is all about comics. It's all about vendors. It's all about creators. Very few anime voices. And yeah, this is a real Comic Con. But we also have Terrificon going on this weekend in Connecticut at one of the Indian casinos. And then there's a lot going on, for it's
nice. Did the Thinking Critical crowd make it out there? Did anybody else sponsor besides Weekend?
I met a couple of other people. I mean, 3 people all day that kind of follow the shows between my show and your show. So it was that was nice. It was just like, wow, hey, a little bit of that internet, celebrity. Like, hey, that's so cool.
Did you get him a cherry limeade or something? Like, here's a refreshment, a cherry limeade.
A cherry limeade? I did not.
The greatest drink in the world.
I like the raspberry lime Ricky myself. You get that at Friendly's.
What's the greatest drink, Dylan? Is it cherry limeade or is it a raspberry lime Ricky?
Greatest drink. I've always been just a plain cream soda guy, to be honest. That's always been my go-to. If they have it, I get it.
What's the brand?
Brand?
Henry Weinberg or what is it? Henry Weinstein? Whatever that is, really high end. That stuff's good.
Harvey
like
Weinstein didn't make soda.
He did make cream though. But anyways, yeah, IBC, back to the original. I'd say probably IBC as far as national brands. But out like in Washington, we have a lot of like random places that make like glass bottled sodas, and I can't remember the name of the brand.
Do you like the red one? Because I always like that cream soda a lot.
Yeah, that one's good too.
Oh, Big Red.
We've got like sarsaparillas out here too, which is just root beer essentially. But
I like birch picker.
Yeah.
So what you been up to, Dylan? You got anything going on the channel? Anything going out in the spheres?
Just did I do a podcast with my brother, and we just did one where we talked about the Cape Crusader and Alien Romulus. So interested in our thoughts on that.
Let's talk about it. I don't give away all the spoilers. You gotta go to the podcast for the full thing. But what were the thoughts on Alien Romulus? The word on the street, it's the best alien movie since Aliens.
It was pretty good. I liked it. It's not as good as the original or Aliens, but I liked it. It's the set design and the effects are amazing. Like, considering how a lot of modern Marvel movies are, how they look like trash and CGI is really bad, this movie doesn't have that problem. It looks great. The acting's really good. The characters are good. It's pretty good. It's just there's some stuff at the end that I won't spoil that's kind of gets a bit much with the whole final girl thing. But overall, I still liked it. I thought it's definitely worth seeing.
Is it better than Covenant?
I'd say so, but I was one of the people that liked Covenant. I kind of
like Covenant. I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I like Prometheus too.
In a way, still haven't seen Prometheus.
It's all right,
There's a few issues with Prometheus, but it's fine.
I mean, it's like the Joss Whedon dialogue in Resurrections that just like really bring it down. I was like, wow, this is
Resurrection's great for 45 minutes. And then it goes
for 45 minutes. Yeah, Brad Dourif.
That makes me so sad because David Fincher is one of my favorite directors, and he made Alien 3, but it's notorious for studio interference. It's like, man, him left alone on an Alien movie could have been so great. That could have been so great.
Like, I just watched the assembly cut of Alien 3 for the first time, and I'm like, wow, there's such a big difference. Charles Dance really eats up the screen every time he's on. What a really good ensemble cast of all the prisoners there. Good cast, yeah.
All right, so what about Cape Crusader? There's a lot of controversy about that. Doesn't look like my cup of tea.
It's a mixed bag. There's some really bad episodes, but then there are some good episodes. Like, I'd say check out the Clayface episode, which is the second episode of the show. A big problem with the show is it kind of treats Batman as a background character, just kind of shows up while it focuses on other characters. Like, other characters are the ones that actually have the arc, and it revolves around, and then Batman kind of just shows up to do his thing. And that's a big problem, especially when you're focusing on characters no one cares about, or versions of characters no one cares about. But overall, I'd say it's worth checking out. It's not great. It's nowhere near as good as Batman the Animated Series or anything like that. But there's some episodes here and there that are pretty good.
Are you ready for more Oswalda?
No, she was one of the worst episodes. So I will say this. The plot of her episode is she has a giant cannon that can just shoot anywhere in Gotham, and they got to stop it. It's such a dumb plot, like legitimately a gigantic cannon. And they're like, oh no, Oswalda's shooting buildings. We got to stop her. And that's it. That's the plot of the episode.
Isn't that basically the plot of one of the White Knight miniseries, except for they had like an ice cannon?
Yes, an ice cannon. Anywhere.
Yeah.
Freeze in the city. And they got to go off on all the cars at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was
Batman and Robin by Joel Schumacher, right?
Yeah, but see, that has the element of ice. This is just a normal cannon. It's just shooting buildings. It's like such a big problem. It doesn't have any cool little twists like, oh, it can freeze the buildings.
It
just blows a hole in them.
Yeah, so basically, if they had like, if they're on a bay and they had, some sort of like fucking howitzers on an island off the coast to protect the island or the bay, they just turned them around and started shooting at the city now. Okay.
Yeah, essentially. She's got one big cannon on the top of the Iceberg Lounge, and Batman's got to stop her. And that's the premise.
Well, right there, the city could step in. It's like, you did not have a permit to build the cannon. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take away that liquor license, and you're just not going to be able to do business in Gotham anymore because shut it right down.
There's probably some weird canon loophole in Gotham, though. Knowing how the laws work in Gotham, there's probably some loophole where, like, she can have that canon.
You got a permit for those flightless waterfowl that you have walking around your lounge.
If you're a woman that can bench 220, you're allowed to have a cannon.
More than likely, it's just not
when I lived in England, I went and visited Oxford. I think it's Oxford University. No, Cambridge University, which is a bunch of little universities on it. And there's still a bridge there that technically, according to the law, that you can go to that bridge and duel to the death, and it's legal. I was like, fuck yeah. This is how we settle it. We're going to the dueling bridge.
Remember, Gotham is still in America, and the default is we can do it unless the government very specifically says that we cannot do this exact thing in this exact circumstances. We're allowed to fucking do it. Default freedom. Goddamn Europeans and their default control.
True. You can still kill a man on a bridge in Europe, man. What are you talking about?
But that's only because it's still permitted by the king.
I think it's a local ordinance.
Regardless, it's still permitted. Whereas over here, unless we say you can't do that, you're allowed to fucking do it.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's get over all that nonsense. Definitely check out Dylan and Sully's channels. There's a link in the video description. We do have Doc. Doc and I have already recorded an episode for YouTube talking about all the insane gimmicks that are going on and reviewing X-Men #2.
Yes, we did. And, I knew coming into today we were going to be talking about the best comics of the year. And you sent over some lists of what Screen Rant and Comic Book and all these other places had to say were the best comics of the year. And holy shit, these were terrible fucking lists. There was like 3 comics on that entire thing that were readable. I'm not even talking about best. I'm talking about readable. And honestly, I'm at the point where there's only about 5 comics in the entire industry that are readable.
There's more than that. You don't fly out into the indies enough, Doc. There's lots of good indie stuff out there.
Tons. I'm looking at my stack and I'm like, how many Image comics are you buying currently? Wow.
Sir, you supported Red Band covers. Your opinion is utterly invalid.
It sounds like you two need to go to the bridge.
Is it true? Did you support the Red Band comics? Then you are adjacent to people.
You are Red Band adjacent.
He's not Red Band adjacent. He's straight up Red Band. And no, that utterly invalidates. And if you think that it's a good idea, your opinion is invalid.
There's 3 comic books from Ghost Machine alone that are worth reading. You got Transformers out there. You got Conan the Barbarian. Right there is 5. I haven't even got any of the other stuff. There's plenty of good stuff. It's not the worst time ever anymore. I think things have really picked up over the last 9 months, especially Dylan. We got some good stuff. Space Ghost too.
There's a lot of good stuff. Are you reading
Space Ghost?
I have not checked out Space Ghost. We've heard good things about it.
I wouldn't let my Pikachu read Space Ghost because he can't read because he's a stuffed animal.
He's not ready for it?
Screw David Pepose.
I just remember always as a kid seeing the commercials for Space Ghost and having no clue what his thing was. I'd be like watching Scooby-Doo and the commercials would be like Space Ghost would show up. I'm like, wow, he looks cool. I have no clue what he does or what he's about at all.
He flies through
space. Batman.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, that's kind of how he's treated in the series. I've never seen the Space Ghost cartoon, but I'm pleasantly surprised by the comic book.
I remember Space Ghost Coast to Coast, his talk show. That's also where I first heard Rammstein. So
I remember an interview with Slash from Guns N' Roses, and it's one of the funnier skits I've ever seen. It was pretty good. Yeah. They had a staring contest. It was pretty good. All right, let's hear it for the peoples. We got a few super chats in here. Let's see what people have to say. Lane, so is Gotham City Sirens #2 worst of the week this week? Ooh. So it's not the video. We're not going to review Gotham City Sirens #2 because we're going to do X-Men #2, which I think is a much more important comic book. But also, I don't think Gotham City Sirens #2 is technically worse than X Factor #1, which we're also skipping because it's Mark Russell. Sully, which one did you think was worse?
I thankfully skipped Sirens #2, and I thought that X-Men #2, the Sigmund McKay stuff, was decent.
X Factor #1.
Oh my God, X Factor
and Gotham City
#1.
Sirens are both worse than X-Men.
I mean, that was, oh gosh, X Factor #1. I didn't click on the QR code because I don't want to enable that kind of stuff. I'm already getting enough grief for the red band stuff. I don't want to give them the metrics that they're looking for. Hey, look, another loser clicked on our QR code. No thanks.
I too remember reading when Peter Milligan did the Ecstatics, and so Mark Russell can keep stealing off Peter Milligan, I guess.
A lot of plagiarism going on in Marvel.
I love Havoc and Polaris. I've always liked that kind of romance. If like they're on again, off again. I think she's a very beautifully drawn character. I think she's got a lot of potential, especially with a heel turn. Like, I mean, seriously, there's your new Magneto right there. I mean,
she's had a dozen heel turns in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not surprising.
But like that, the anime green hair, I love that. I just want to know,
she's going to be Magneta.
Yeah. Magneto.
Gallup says, on Gotham City Sirens, I like what Doc said about depopulation because I wonder if there's some kind of depopulation conspiracy to make only men so apathetic.
Yes, there is.
There's certainly a conspiracy for depopulation.
Yeah,
it's a conspiracy. There's like an entire agenda associated with it.
Yes, UN Agenda 21, yes. UN Agenda 2030, the Georgia Guidestones. It's been since the 80s that there's a actual. It's not even a conspiracy. I mean, well, it is, I guess, but it's not a theory. It's like they're just straight out saying.
A conspiracy is people acting behind the scenes so they're not out in the open. This is completely out in the open.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even a conspiracy and it's not a theory. It's just an agenda.
It's a fact.
I have a theory. It could be bunnies. That's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reference.
Next up, Calvin says, does Hickman have a compulsion to self-sabotage himself because he's not Black Cat? And that Peach artist should never write because she's awful.
Well, Peach is okay. I mean, it wasn't a hit with me.
He's talking about the race swap Black Cat.
Oh,
you haven't seen that.
Yeah, I was just on a cover of an upcoming Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't care in a way. I mean, I'm thinking about dropping Ultimate Spider-Man too. I'm kind of bored with it at this point. It's not in my list for the best of 2000 so far. 2024 so far. It's not. Been there, done that. I still got it on my pull list, but for how long? Yeah,
I thought the Peach Momoko Demon Days, Demon Wars thing that she wrote was fine.
Yeah, I liked her Star Wars stuff. She did a Star Wars Visions, and a Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red, and those are both really fun and good and artsy. And something to interpret, I mean, it had some sauce.
You know what we called artsy back in the day?
Fartsy.
Artsy.
It was it was a put down. It was not a compliment.
I mean, look, I liked Eartha Kitt too, but I don't need to do her as not Catwoman in not the Batman TV show.
All right. Galb says it does pay homage to the original. There is a character I didn't think I would see, but despite the final act, I was scared when I saw that.
He's talking about Alien Romulus, so I get what he's saying. Yeah,
he doesn't. You're speaking in code.
Yeah, it's good. He didn't spoil anything. Yeah, he didn't spoil anything. He's being very considerate, but
you hear that? We're using code names.
So you think people should definitely go watch Romulus, though? You recommend?
Yeah, if you're interested in Romulus, definitely check it out. It's good. It's and like he's saying, there's something in the end that don't want to spoil it. That is pretty cool. Unsettling looking.
All right. Yeah. Is it better than Furiosa?
I like Furiosa better, but I really like Furiosa.
See, I thought Furiosa was eminently average, but certainly watchable. Came away going, well, there's some decent action in that one. Perfectly fine. I wasn't upset that I saw it, but I wasn't like, oh my goodness, that one blew me away like Fury Road.
It's not as good as Fury Road, but I really like Furiosa.
I still haven't watched it.
Calb says there are hints that it's several years before the game Alien Isolation with its canon, which is canon.
I remember that game existed.
I played.
I only played Alien at the shooter game at the arcade.
With the arcade.
Yeah, the Aliens shooter game. Yeah,
that thing was great.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's played Alien Isolation, it's going to be
Dylan.
It's going to be Dylan.
I played it. Yep. I beat
Do you
it
agree with
in
this assessment?
2020. I can't remember much from the story at all. That game was just like the first couple hours are fun, and then it gets really repetitive and tedious. And you're kind of just like hiding from androids and bumping switches, and that's kind of the entire thing. It's great when the alien shows up. It's cool and tense, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of androids. So I don't remember much about the plot of that game at all.
Well, you're going to have to go recheck it out because it ties in or potentially ties into Romulus.
Oh, I didn't know.
Wade says, so we have hit the Star Wars merchandise iceberg where you for $300 buy a 6-foot stormtrooper from Home Depot. I know someone who bought one.
Really? Like the life-size one? We could put it right over there.
$300 doesn't sound like a terrible deal for a life-size stormtrooper.
It's not. You can get, when you can get like one of those like 14-foot tall skeleton things for like $300 at Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the halfway decent Halloween Halloween decoration. What I really want is they have the dog demon things from Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
that they smoke and their eyes turn red.
Oh, cool.
That you could put at the end of your driveway. I want 2 of those for Halloween.
You can talk about Gozer.
Yes, Gozer. That's Gozer's the thing. What are the keymaster
and the gatekeeper?
Yeah, for Gozer. Yeah, you can have it like the little thing, and then you have your old lady. You throw some sexy clothes on her, have her eyes light up red like she's the final boss.
Yeah, but then she's got to get that weird like flat top haircut, and I like girls with long hair.
All right, Dylan, you hitting the depot?
I didn't even know this was a thing, but probably not at this point. But $6 for 6-foot stormtrooper doesn't sound bad.
That'd be cool.
That would be pretty
what
cool.
If you
I don't know where I'd
like
put
a
it.
fucking lamp, you hollow him out, you put a light in there, and his eyes light up, and maybe the phaser pistol will have some light coming out of it. You could do a lot of fun things with that.
You do a lot of good stuff.
You
That'd
think
be something cool
you think there is anything beyond a 0% chance that thing's not already hollow in order to sell for $300? It isn't not posable.
Yeah,
like
set up like a giant garden knob in the front yard. That'd be sick.
Doc could be going pew pew, acting like
pew pew. I feel like that episode of Friends where like Monica's dating Jon Favreau. He's a millionaire, and he's like Joey and Chandler. You're like, he's got life-size stormtrooper armor. Can I dress up? Me and Joey dress up and fight each other. Just
that was great. Yeah, he's in the UFC, and she's like, "You almost died. You got to quit." He's like, "Am I the ultimate fighting champion? I can't quit. I got to keep going." Fantastic. That's a really good episode. All right, Jim, you finally made it. How you doing?
Great. Lovely.
Jim,
hello.
Great. Are you going to the depot to get you a 6-foot stormtrooper to put in the house?
How many inputs does it have? Is what I want to know. That's all I need. And can it pose off like sexy? And then I'm fine. I'm a desperate man. That's what I'm saying. I put a wig on it and some lipstick. No, I wouldn't go and buy a $30 stormtrooper at Home Depot. So,
but
no.
you are a lifelong Star Wars fan. Is it because you're cheaper? Or is it because you don't like Star Wars anymore?
Yes.
Yes.
Mainly because I'm cheap, but Star Wars, I'm not a lifelong fan anymore. I'm in a second life right now.
I'll Google it now, and it's Christmas themed. The Stormtrooper.
Oh, I was gonna say, you get there. It's a first order Stormtrooper, and that's just like, I don't want a first order Stormtrooper.
It's not a Stormtrooper.
Has posable arms, animated head, speaks 3 different phrases, comes with Death Star and candy bucket for Halloween, and also it comes with like a Christmas hat and a candy stick. It looks like or something.
Feels like something I would do if I was in America and I had a depot around.
What do you think the phrase? What phrases is it? Just going to say like put it on stun?
These aren't the
Those
droids we're
aren't the
looking
droids
for.
you're looking.
Yeah,
The droids you're looking for. It's gonna be that one, right?
Say that, or you're so big.
Move along. Move along.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be very odd.
We think they might be on multiple levels now. Isn't that another line there? That'd be pretty good. I would do it. Jack Halsey, very nice. One of the Patreon backers. It amazes me that in 2024, the best and most consistent writer Marvel has had is Chris Claremont with his last 2 Wolverine books.
Well, that's because he's able to actually get into a groove.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Claremont is, you notice, I mean, he just had the story in the Iron Fist. Not very good. When Chris is writing one-off stories, they are not very good. But when he can get into a bit of a groove, he's still got it. He's still completely got it. But he got to get into the groove.
Like
Sully,
Madonna.
who do you think's been the most consistent writer at Marvel for the year?
Jed McKay.
Consistently bad.
Mediocre?
He's Ryan North's been pretty hit or miss with me, but at least his Matt North?
Ryan North.
Ryan North. Yeah, he's been on his
hit or miss is the antithesis of consistent.
Well, I think it's like I look at it like an on-base percentage. He was batting like a 300 or
200.
something.
He could start for the Sox. 1 out of 5.
Yeah. Yell out slurs. He'd probably do that, right?
But Jed McKay overall, he's been fine.
Loving that Avengers run, huh?
Ryan North can consistently miss with jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Russell can consistently write bad.
He can consistently piss me off too.
Yeah,
that's that.
Yeah, every time he opens his fucking mouth or puts pen to paper, he's gonna make shit. That's really consistent.
I mean, Steve Orlando's doing a decent job on the 2099 stuff. He's like no messaging, no agenda, no Bobby in a love harness. No, it's just like flat out superhero stories in 2099. I'm like, this is pretty decent. I like it when a writer that's a little sus can just stop, drop, and do the job. And that's way to go. Kid.
What about you? What do you think, Jim? Who's the most consistently good writer at Marvel?
Marvel. I mean, Chris Claremont has been Peter David was before he got sick. And that's the thing. I think Sully is kind of right. Jed McKay, I mean, it doesn't mean good. He's like right in the middle. Like I always thought he was. People elevated him with the Moon Knight stuff. But he's kind of a consistent, like if you were going to rate his books like 7, 6, 5, 7 in between that. I mean, then occasionally gets better. But I don't think he writes horrible stuff. It just kind of is kind of mid, but it's mid.
He writes horrible names.
Oh, the group names, he's the worst. I mean, you don't want to get together with him and make a bowling team because he's going to come up with the stupidest fucking name for the bowling team. But other than that, I mean, like I said, if you like him, you kind of know what you're going to get. So it's consistent. But I don't know, like Hickman maybe with what he's been doing, the couple things. And I don't know. Again, consistent. You get, Alyssa Wong's consistent. She's horrible. So consistent, I mean, that's the worst part of Marvel has a lot of consistently bad writers or mid. When I sit here and even with the topic today, it's hard to come up with anything Marvel in my mind because it's all kind of just.
I've got a couple.
Yeah, I have a couple too, but it's not a lot. And it's tough. And it even shows when we're doing this, we're only dealing with, 8 months. I can't even remember half the stuff that came out this year from Marvel because it's just been kind of nothing.
Yeah, we're kind of old too. Galb says
That's
game
true.
Is Ripley's daughter looking for the black box from the ship. Does that make you remember?
I remember you played as Ripley's daughter. I do not remember that you were looking for the black box from the ship. I couldn't remember anything from the plot other than that you were Ripley's daughter. That was all I remembered.
Ripley's like 95 years old. There's no way she's going to still have kids. You know what I mean?
I thought that. Here's the thing. I thought that Alien Isolation was before Alien, and so it's between Alien and Aliens.
Yes, I believe so. I believe that's where it takes place in the timeline.
All right. No, I thought it was the other way around. Okay, cool.
But what about the Declan Shelby books? I'm concerned where they fit in this canon.
I mean,
No.
if you want
really.
the human embodiment of the color beige.
Let's stop. Next year, the MCU, I think, will cause a lot of division. Ironheart, especially in backlash, because it looks like the black girl stereotypes of the series. It's kind of weird, Jill. And I watched the trailer that leaked, and it looks like a villain origin. So I guess maybe they nailed it. I'm not sure.
Did you see Did you see Black Panther 2?
Yeah.
Ironheart was so bad in that movie. She was legitimately a stereotype in that movie. The way she talked was a walking, talking stereotype. It was crazy. She was awful. Her suit looks terrible. Her characterization was awful. I don't know how she got her own project. That makes no sense to me. She was so bad in that movie.
Now the suit is going to be funded by the drug trade.
All right.
That's good.
So she's a drug dealer now. Awesome.
Trickle down economics.
Is she a Krakoan?
No, she's
okay.
Chicago.
Well, yeah, but I figured they,
what is it? Is Chicagoite or something? What's the name of somebody from Chicago?
Chicagoan?
Chi-Town?
Chi-Townies?
Windier?
Maybe.
Windier's good.
Deep dish nonsense person?
North Sider, South Sider.
And he says, and Agatha looks terrible, and I hope we learn more about why Bo guy was fired. Well, it sounds like the Bo guy was fired because he was sexually harassing people, and he's going to get in a lot of trouble. And Agatha does look horrible. Although I could see Sully, my wife, seeing the trailer, not realizing it was superheroes and thinking it was witches, and maybe watching it. So she thought it was like Hocus Pocus.
She'll suck you.
And
She'll sucker you in.
The Hocus Pocus.
No, I wouldn't watch that crap. My wife and I watch certain things together, like cooking shows, but I don't watch Hocus Pocus. I'm above that.
I think that
Halloween.
I think this coming year is going to be a measuring stick on how much one good movie in goodwill can regain for Marvel and how quickly it burns off the second time around.
Yeah, well, it ain't gonna last long because they had to move all their bad stuff out of 2024 and move it into 2025, so it's just gonna be loaded. And we shall say thank you very much to everybody for supporting the channel and joining this one. Now let's get to this fun talk because we do have the best comic books of the year to talk about. We're going to start out with Marvel. I don't think it's going to be a terribly long conversation. Daddy does need a bathroom break, but we're going to start out with Jim, the Mr. Optimistic, all here on Think Critical YouTube. Yeah. What do you think are the best comics at Marvel in 2024? And let's open it up for a discussion because I definitely want to hear what Sully thinks.
Well, you want to hear what Sully thinks, huh? I only have three. One, people are going to yell at me. But the first is Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that most people are going to have that on their list of the best Marvel stuff. Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto. Again, everybody went nuts for it. I've been kind of getting a little bit cooler on it. I needed to pick up, but it's probably easily the best, I think, book from Marvel this year. I also have Avengers Twilight by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna. And the reason I actually didn't like the first issue, but as it went, I really enjoyed it. And by the end, I really actually wanted some more. And then the last one, which people will yell at me, but I was desperate to get at least 3 books. I have Ultimate X-Men, Peach Momoko, and I know that it's not, I know all the arguments with it, and I agree with all the arguments with it. I still like it for what it is. But I know that a lot of people would put it on their worst of list because it's not quite an X-Men book. People don't like Peach Momoko's art as interior art. But again, I've been enjoying it and I was desperate to put a book. And also I wanted to grind some gears is what I wanted to do. But that's it for me. Those are my 3 picks. I'm sure there's some that I've missed. I was going to put the Jonathan Hickman Doom book on, but it's a one-shot, so I thought that's kind of odd, but I could even throw that in as an honorable mention. But there's also probably some things that I've forgotten. There's a lot of books though that I started liking and then they just turned to crap. I mean, again, to rile people up, I really like Spider-Boy at the beginning. It turned to crap. There's no story left in that after like 5, 6 issues, so I couldn't put that on there either. And yeah, that's it because everything else sucked. But who's next?
I I had to, I did read the Doom book, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I'd say it's probably the best single, the best issue Marvel has released this year.
Yeah,
by a long stretch. I'd say Ultimate Spider-Man, but even that is really waning.
Yeah.
And after that, I mean, sadly, I have to go to Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men.
And you just have that. Yeah.
Everything else is somehow worse. Everything else that I've read at Marvel is.
I'm going to add in the comments, the Grizz MD actually brought up Get Fury, which I have really enjoyed. Usually, it has enough issues, I guess. I mean, we're putting a one shot and things in there. I put that, and also I forgot the Claremont, both of the Wolverine deals. Those are definitely up there. I had that on my list for some reason. I didn't see that.
See, I don't know if I can put the Claremont ones on there because they don't really exist in.
Yeah, I know.
They can't matter.
Yeah,
like their basic design and how they function and fit into the universe prohibits them from mattering. Which is unfortunate because they're otherwise, perfectly good stories. And the what was the other one you just he mentioned?
Get Fury.
Get Fury. You know what? I didn't read that.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's good. And again, it's funny too when you're doing Marvel or even DC. When we get to that, it's the idea of, are we doing the best books, or are you just doing here's the best of the kind of crap? But I mean, some of these are best of, but some are just like, hey, Marvel doesn't have much. But no, Get Fury is really good. I enjoy it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's shocking at points. You're not going to see many books that have a guy, put Nick Fury's face into a guy who's alive's guts. Stuff like that. It's pretty over the top, but I do like it.
What about where's X Factor on this? Where's NYX on this?
NYX, that's there somewhere.
NYX is lining my kitty litter box.
NY Next. I'm telling you, first up, when you get this list, you have a bunch of writers, say like a Lansing and Kelly, where you find out what books they're on,
and they automatically
so that you don't mention them.
Yeah,
you're afraid you might mention something with them. You don't want that to happen.
In their defense, I mean that their Venom War Spider-Man issue 1 was mostly decent this week.
Oh, and you know what? I did read parts of that Wolverine Blood Hunt. And it was a perfectly serviceable story.
Yeah, you know what? I could even, if we were going to throw in that, I could put that in, but because that was the best of an event, it still was pretty good though. I could even go.
Yeah, the story itself was completely separate from the event. It was like they took the good parts of the Ben Percy Wolverine book, and then forgot all about the dumb bullshit that he spent the last 40 out of 50 issues writing about. And it'd be like as if that was where you actually when people actually wanted to see the story going. The only thing that would have been cooler is if they would have somehow mixed in the weird Russian, mutant program thing into it, but they didn't. But I was fine with just Wolverine killing vampires.
Yeah, even like for a fun deal, but it's not a best of. The Avengers tie-in was pretty good by Jed McKay, but again, that was just fun. But I wouldn't put that up as a best of. But that Wolverine Blood Hunt book was pretty good.
Absolutely, that one was fun.
Yeah, yep.
My big 3 one would be like probably Ultimate Spider-Man, Avengers Twilight, and then the Doom one shot.
Yeah,
I had all those on my list, but I put Ultimate X-Men to get everybody pissed.
Yeah, he's just trying to round me up.
But I said it. I spelled it out. I like it for what it is, but I know it's not what a lot of people want. But yeah, incredible. Again, I liked the Hulk for a while. I've just been bored with it.
It's my pick.
Put it on. Yeah.
I mean, I got two Marvel magazines on my pull list, and one of them's probably coming off. It's Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm not feeling it. Sure, it's pretty. It's nice, but I want something a little more. It's just so it's. I think I'm almost done with Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's not on my best of 2024 so far. But Incredible Hulk, yes. You know why? Because I look forward to every issue. I look forward to the next chapter, and I look forward to Nick Klein's art. The current arc has.
I'm still looking forward to a story.
It's in there. I mean, it's a slow burn. I think so. I mean, if you compare
slow burn, the thing's barely light.
I know,
lit.
You know what I mean? It's coming. It's not even breathing heavy. I know.
So
did you notice, Sully, that Danny Earl's art worked better on this last issue?
Yeah,
because there was no Hulk. It was doing
pretty much. But I'm enjoying it. That's my Incredible Hulk's been fun. I thought that Jed McKay's Doctor Strange was pretty good because I like Pascal Ferry's art. Been liking. I didn't know I was gonna like it. Immortal Thor by Al Ewing has been pretty darn entertaining.
Sully, me and you are no longer friends.
My goodness! Don't take back your Transformers.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I mean, I'm the nice guy. I'm being nice to these.
Yes.
It's my idiom. But
well, Dylan, you're also an Incredible Hulk guy, right?
Yes, that was gonna be my pick for my favorite Marvel comic.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm really enjoying it. I like the little prequel story we got in this latest issue. I thought it was pretty cool, and I've just been enjoying it. It is a slow burn, but I'm fine with it because we get enough in every issue, and I like what happens in every issue. And I like the relationship between Hulk and the girl that's following him around, and how he's trying to save her and what's going on. I'm into it. I really like it.
I want to see more of her dad, though. It seemed like he was going to come off as this really evil guy that's been taken over by a demon, kind of hunting him down, using her feelings for her brother and stuff. But they only visited it once, and it was so sad when she's seeing her little brother and talking about what happened to him, and you're just like, oh man, that one just ripped my heart right out.
Yeah, he does a really good job with that stuff. Philip K. Johnson, he does a good job.
But the Nick Klein art and certainly the covers really do add a lot to it.
Dude, his transformations, his transformations are second to none. So good.
I mean, I'm kind of interested in buying an original page. I'm so in love with this Hulk, this look, the hand-drawn onomatopoeia sound effects. I follow Nick Klein on Twitter, and it's his agent selling pages, and I'm like, you can afford that. Don't you just do it, man? You just do it. Max got one. You need one too.
That Ghost Rider issue has some insane pages. Looks so good.
Yeah, I've never bought original art like that before. I think I deserve it. Yeah, I think I might do that.
You deserve it. You're a good man.
You do.
Are there any other Marvel issues or series that are really standing out to you, Dylan? Besides,
it's basically the ones I've already mentioned. Get Fury, I'm really enjoying Get Fury. It's pretty good. Interesting to see how that progresses and wraps up. Ultimate Spider-Man, I agree with what everyone else has been saying. That's been on the decline. That's kind of the Hickman way, though. He kind of explodes onto the new comics when he comes in. It's like, oh man, it's really good, and then he just declines until it just gets incredibly boring. And that was basically it for my best comics. I guess I would say Wolverine Deep Cut as well, but that's only 2 issues in of 4. Mm-hmm. So
that's a really good series, though. It's been a lot of fun.
I tied in with the Marjaport Knights too, which I like Deep Cut better, but that was still pretty good.
I like the Kubert art in Deadpool Wolverine World War III.
That art is great.
The art is great in that.
The words aren't great.
No, it's not.
The art's incredible. It's incredible. That art is so good. Yeah, I mean, holy moly.
I'm not really sure what's going on here, but Get Fury's been a really good one. The Jason Burrows art, and they've really, whenever those two guys get together, you get Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows together, they're going to step over the line, maybe step audit a few times. And they done some pretty gruesome stuff in that one. Pretty violent.
Yeah.
Is it as violent as when in was it Punisher Soviet where they were skinning people and hanging them up?
No, it's not got that.
No,
not quite yet. It does get close though with the stuff with Fury and the other prisoners. It gets close, but not quite.
You got 2 more issues yet. He can totally shock us at any turn.
true.
No, I don't want to give away too many spoilers on that one. We also got an enormous reveal on Nick Fury on that one, right? Last issue.
Yes,
with the two ladies, what they are.
Yes, and one of the ladies being,
But it's just kind of been down for Marvel. It's kind of weird. Doc, do you remember an era where Marvel, like almost all the best stuff they put out is miniseries? Doc's God.
He's had
yes. I remember.
Do you remember
that?
Don't you think it's weird though that all their best stuff is miniseries that are almost always out of continuity? That's
that's
that
the
can't be
thing.
good.
Yeah, a lot of them are the older writers coming back to continue stuff and things like that. It's been that for quite some time.
It's Garth Ennis doing a Punisher Nick Fury story. It's Chris Claremont coming in to do a Wolverine story. It's Tom Waltz coming in for the first time and doing a Wolverine story that ties in that doesn't really tie into anything. Or it's Avengers Twilight, which ended up being pretty good. Yep. But they need to get some really awesome ongoings. I would agree that probably Incredible Hulk is the best ongoing. Moon Knight certainly was there for a while, but it just kind of burned itself out.
Yeah, there's not a lot, the ongoings. And I agree, even though I think it's more of a slow burn than I like him with Incredible Hulk. The only thing that I worry about with Philip Kennedy Johnson, because I think he's a really good writer, these slow burns often end up where you got to rush it at the end because it gets canceled. And that always worries me with them. But it is probably the best ongoing, the Incredible Hulk.
Well, all the numbers that we have suggest that Incredible Hulk is still doing fine. It's not doing as well as like when Al Ewing was on it. It was a top 5 book, but it's still, I think, top 30, which is probably good enough to keep it going.
Yeah.
But
and I'm sure they let him know ahead of time. But it seems like sometimes he kind of got screwed with the Superman stuff at DC. Action, and so, it ends up where he has to tie things up quick. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
So what does that make you feel, Dylan? The biggest Superman fan in the world, they pull the rug out from underneath Phil Kennedy Johnson so they can do the Superman Superstars initiative. You get kind of a throwaway Bizarro story, which is fine, but not memorable. And now we got Gail Simone doing like a nostalgic Superman story fighting aliens.
Yeah, it's nothing that I wanted. I liked what Philip Kennedy Johnson was doing. I really like to see him have a long run. He had one of the best story arcs we've had on Superman since Rebirth. What he did was amazing with the World War Saga, and I liked his stuff afterwards. I like what he did with the small moments as well when he wasn't doing a big overarching story. And then it's like, it's not even like you're bringing in heavy hitters for Superman. You brought in Jason Aaron, who did admittedly a better job than I thought he would do, but still, he's not like a legend when it comes to writing Superman or anything. Gail Simone, same thing. And then Mark Waid, I know, has written a lot of Superman comics people have liked. I've never been his biggest fan. But yeah, none of it gets me excited, especially when you have Philip Kennedy Johnson out there, who's already proven lately how good he is at writing Superman. But instead, you kick him off for a bunch of people that no one asked for. At least we're getting Eddie Barrow's drawing the Fleischer suit is great, though. I love the way that looks. It looks so cool. I'm always just the black background on this suit. I always love it. On the S, it looks great. It looks so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the two of the biggest mistakes DC made recently were taking Philip Kennedy Johnson off of Superman and taking Jeremy Adams off of Flash. And they're both just, one is basically unreadable, and the other one is, not as good.
Yeah, so is there anything further out, towards the end of the year from Marvel that we know is coming that's got you excited? The only one that just like pops in my mind really is Avengers versus X-Men, but I think the first issue was like $8 or something, which pissed me off.
Maybe the Wolverine book.
That one's the Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wolverine Revenge, Jonathan Hickman, Capullo.
With Capullo, that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Red Band?
Yeah. There's going to be Red Band, yes.
I'm staying far away from that one. Right.
Good.
I learned my lesson the hard way.
But those are definitely the two that are kind of standing out for me as what we could look forward to in the end of the year that might make the list by the end. But it is slim pickings at Marvel. Let's hear from the peoples. Brad Frederick says, how does the panel feel about Paul Peltier replacing Gary Frank on Geiger? Ooh. I don't believe he's replacing Gary Frank on Geiger. I think he's a fill-in artist, just coming in for an issue or two. I don't think he's going to be the full-time artist on Geiger.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be bad. It's not Gary Frank.
You're going to have a fill-in artist. Paul Peltier is a great fill-in artist.
Yeah, I think that'll it'll fit.
As a fill-in artist, you can go much worse.
Yeah, I mean, they're going out there and getting a good artist to do it. You know, Gary Frank, we know, has had issues with time management. And
I was just going to say, I mean, if you have Doomsday Clock issues in this, you don't want to have delays. So I'd rather have somebody, and they got Paul Pelletier, so that's good.
Yeah. Chuck Skills, Philip Kennedy Johnson's Incredible Hulk is the best written ongoing at Marvel. The art is inconsistent, sure, but the book is fantastic. That is the thing that is really messing with me here, Sully. Is the jumping from Nick Klein to Danny Earls, where going from Gary Frank to Paul Pelletier, you're certainly going to notice it, but they kind of work together. Danny Earls and Nick Klein do not mix together at all. It's jarring.
It's because it's a different feel. It's like one of the words like I've learned from watching your channel is like the line weight and the inking, and it's just that's all under like it looks like it's all Bristol boards and pens and brushes when it comes to Nick Klein. He's doing the work, but with Danny Earls, it definitely looks like he's drawing on a tablet in a digital medium, and it's such an for me as being like an old reader. It's like I can. It's like flavor. It's like, oh, did you use NutraSweet in this? I can totally taste it. You know what I mean? That's what like the digital experience is to me, like in a food reference. It's like, you've been using NutraSweet and it's in everything and I can totally taste it. And I would rather have some real sugar instead. You know, give me that sugar. Give me that ink.
I do think they made some mistakes on the art choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's and Earls is doing okay, but it's just like, oh gosh, Nick Klein. If he could do every issue, then this would be a perfect book.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw Philip Kennedy Johnson was talking about Danny Earls, saying it was like the best experience and how great his art was. And when when they start saying that, you know that he's trying to make up for some pretty bad art. He's just trying to convince people because it was pretty bad. But like Wes said, and we've said even on our show, when you end up having equal things. You have the Hulk, Nick Klein, Hulk, Danny. That's you're like, yeah, there's no comparison. But if it is something different, like the last issue, it works out. It works out a little better. And actually, I thought the last issue looked decent enough because it wasn't anything you can compare, 1-to-1 to Nick Klein's stuff that he's been doing.
Retro Man says Philip Kennedy Johnson needs to get on Thor instead of Al Ewing, and I would echo that sentiment, and I would also go along with the idea, Dylan, of Nick Klein going along with him, because Nick Klein really got his start in comic books doing Norse-related comic books. That's something he's definitely into.
He did that with what's his name? The guy from Venom. He did it. He was on his Thor run for a little bit with him. What's that guy's
Donny
name?
Cates?
Why am I? Yeah, Donny Cates. He's on there, and he did some really cool stuff with Thor. So I'd be down for that. Phil K. Johnson just came out recently and said he really wanted to do Aquaman because they're talking about if you did an absolute book, what would you want to do? And he said Aquaman. I was like, I'm down for that.
And they need an Aquaman book.
He could do some really cool stuff with Atlantis. That would be so cool.
Well, yeah, certainly anything like Thor or even Aquaman where you have lore and kingdoms and history that you can call upon is going to all feed into Philip Kennedy Johnson and the best, instincts that he has in a writer. And I think he would do fine on both of those books. Certainly.
Definitely.
We've got H.H. German. We've mentioned his name earlier. Here comes the Calico. Shout out to the Thinking Critical team from Fan Expo Chicago. They need to keep bringing the heat. Our first trade is live on Kickstarter. Don't miss it and support Thinking Critical now and always. And we've got a sneak peek of the trade, don't we? There it is. Beautiful. What do you think of the quality? Does it feel like it's cheap or does it feel like quality in your hand?
No, it's good quality. It's got a nice binding, and it's a good collection. And
about 150 pages? More than that?
It's about that. Yeah, I think it's about 144 HH. Perhaps.
Like that?
Is this 8 issues? I haven't gotten around to reading the whole thing.
All
yet.
right. If it's 8 issues, it's probably closer to like 180 or something like that. But very nice. You can get your own copy right now on Kickstarter. And if you're in Dallas Fan Expo Chicago, definitely go check out HH in their booth. You'd have a good time there. And you should see Drew as well. That's why he won't be on the Best of the Week later, which I'm going to have to figure out. And congratulations on all your success. Hope that all works out great. Lane Kramer says Wolverine Blood Hunt is my favorite miniseries of 2024.
Ooh.
It's good.
So what's better, Jim? Wolverine Blood Hunt, or do you think Avengers Twilight?
Well, See,
or I guess
that's
even
the
get
thing.
Fury.
Well, even that, like
That's not
I
finished.
said, Adventures Twilight, I didn't like the first issue, and then I liked it more and more as it went.
I think it
I
got
did like,
better.
yeah, it got way better, and I wanted more by the end. But Wolverine Blood Hunt, now again, it was in a awful, awful event that had really bad tie-ins, so it really stood out that way. But I don't know. I really liked Wolverine Blood Hunt. It was a lot of fun, and it worked out. So I might even go Wolverine Blood Hunt.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely up there. It was a
Yeah.
really, really good read.
Yep.
Eddie Brock, 9043. Say what you will about Al Ewing's Venom run. It's better than ASM. Just before Zeb Wells leaves ASM, he now decides to give Peter a new girlfriend.
Yeah, huh?
That was a rough issue, wasn't it?
Oh, that was terrible.
He had gone on dates with this girl before, but the problem is Zeb Wells was supposed to be off the book now, and they asked him to stay for 5 more issues, so he had to come up with something. And I think this issue we just had, not that I'm going to defend him ever, because his run is awful.
Feels
But
like
this was a this was a filler issue kind of deal to maybe get everything else done, you know, while they end up with maybe a Tombstone story. Because it's amazing that the thing that people go with, and the idea of even after the what city war on fire, what the deal, what's it called, that Tombstone said, I'm going to kill, you know, Spider-Man. And then it would have ended without that. He was just going to end it. No Paul, nothing. So hopefully he ends with Paul getting hit by a truck, and maybe tie up some of the Tombstone stuff. Gang War, it was called. See, that's so bad. It just happened, and I forgot what the hell that thing was called. Right?
Dark Web.
I feel like it would be funnier if Paul is just like walking down the street, just gets hit by a meteor.
That's what a meteor. I wonder if anybody saw that one episode of way back Felicity, where the guy like walks right in front of a bus. No, he'll become the Sorrow Lantern.
Oh,
crying it up.
or like they treat him like Poochie.
Yeah.
Poochie died on his way back to his home planet.
Or like he gets hit by a bus like Regina George does in Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right, Jim. Time to put your balls on the line. What's better, the Venom or ASM right now?
They're both bad. This is the thing. I continue to read.
I'm still reading ASM.
I'm not reading Venom. I couldn't take it. I mean, it was, you know, I do not like Al Ewing one bit. I don't like Zeb Wells either, but I could at least get through an issue and not have a headache. And so I would go ASM just because that's what I'm still reading. It sucks, but I can't even read Al Ewing's Venom. I can't. And then we had recent big event. We start off with, you know, wrestling. So,
Kalichi Oki, which character or book from Marvel DC do you think Peach Momoko's art would be suitable for? I think it'd be suitable for lots of characters, but if I had to give her a character, I would probably go with
Dazzler,
Elektra,
Barda.
Elektra certainly would be good. I was going to go with Cassandra Cain, but Elektra's probably better.
I would love to see her doing an Elektra book set in Japan, you know, doing crazy ninja shit. It works perfect. It's almost tailor-made for somebody like Peach Momoko. Why they don't do it is because, well, God forbid we give the things that make fucking sense.
There we go. Anybody else got any ideas? You're the biggest Peach Momoko fan out there, Sully. Which character or book would you want her on?
Big Barda, and like or Mr. Miracle, or you know, just I think it would be nice and comical, and it would suit like her sensibility. I love her art style. I really love what she does, and I love Big Barda. She's like one of my favorites.
You should love Birds of Prey right now.
It's horrible. I mean,
yes, it is.
I've tried. I come back every month hoping that, like, I liked 5 out of the 6 of the first 6 issues were really good. Issue 5 was a stinker with some fill-in art, and but I thought the first arc was pretty strong, and it gave me some hope in Kelly Thompson, and especially what she'll end up doing over in Scarlet, and then no, and it didn't. No, it's not. Yeah, not very. Yeah, but I do like it's Jeff.
Lade says, "Is Black Canary doomed? Will she murder Ollie?" The answer, Dylan, is yes.
Yeah, that was some of the most depressing news of the week. Black Canary and Lady Shiva two really cool characters that don't get enough shine lately are going to be written by Tom King. And he's made it very important that it's canon. It's not an out-of-canon book. He talked about how he loves working on stuff in canon and getting to mess with it. Oh, this is just why? Why him? Why does he get to? He's going to do something stupid with
He's trying to trigger me.
Yeah. This book is going to be horrible.
Absolutely. Can't be anything but. Finally, Eddie Brock 9043 says Shadow of the Green Goblin by J.M. DeMatteis was fire.
It was. That was one of my favorite Spider-Man stories all year so far. And it's like one of these like the old Marvel 0.0 issues. This is like what issue like 10.0 or something like that, or 0.1, you know what I mean? Just like smuggle this in between.
That was my score.
Well, Shadows of the Green Goblin was fine. I thought it was a little too
miserable.
And
miserable.
A little
it was
bit
so
over
depressing.
narrated.
I didn't love it.
The art was cool.
Yeah.
But I think his Robin Lives book is better right now.
But
also kind of a depressing
that's
book.
good.
But it kind of fits the tone of what's going on there. But yeah, a lot of these throwback things that they're doing from like in continuity 30 years ago are all the best things that they're doing. That's what you got to be looking out for. Time to be moving over to the DC comics. And we do have a DC expert here. Dylan, what DC books in 2024 thus far are really standing out to you as fantastic?
All right, so my favorite book I've read in 2024 for DC was Jay Garrick the Flash. I really enjoyed that. It's the second half of it was in 2024. Like the first 3 issues were last year and last 3 issues this year, but I loved it. That book was really good. I'm not even the biggest Jay Garrick fan, and I loved it. It was so good. We got Diego, however you pronounce his last name, on art. Yeah, that. And it looked beautiful. The way, man, when Jay Garrick beats up a bunch of like cyborg sharks, it looks so sick. It was
I saw that I had to put it on Twitter.
Yeah, same. It looked amazing. And that whole story arc was great. How they brought back his daughter, sort of Wally West's daughter, like with Rebirth. I loved it. I liked it a lot. Kneel Before Zod, I really enjoyed. I love Zod, but I never really craved a Zod series. And then Joe Casey came in with Dan McDade, and they did a great job. It ended early, which was really sad. It only went 8 issues because there's so much more they could do there. And so the ending was very sad, but I enjoyed it. I like Kneel Before Zod. It was pretty cool. Green Lantern is the best ongoing at DC. Jeremy Adams doing a great job. It's been bogged down a little bit by the Absolute Power, but it's still really good and definitely the best ongoing. And then probably my final DC recommendation would be Batman Offworld, which has been delayed forever. I think it comes like at the end of this month, I think is the issue 5. Yeah, but Batman Offworld's great. And Doug Mankey's one of my favorite artists. So seeing him drawing Batman fighting aliens is sick. And Jason Aaron's doing way better than I thought he'd ever do. So
couldn't agree more on that one. What do you think about Diego going and doing the JLA book? That's when I'm
excited about that. Yeah, with Jeff Lemire. That's one of my most anticipated books coming out. Jeff Lemire and Diego on the book. That's sign me up.
Yeah, he's like the best, or one of the best examples of how you can incorporate, your manga stylings into American comic books and make it really work. Because, he's got like the expressions and stuff, and there's certainly a lot of manga flair to it, but it really does work with, especially the speed-based characters.
Yeah, it worked great. Everything he drew in Jay Garrick was amazing.
Yeah, I remember Jim was crying during Jay Garrick the Flash. Like he was really, really was invested in the relationship.
Boom! Don't leave. Boom! I love Judy Garrick. I love the Lost Children book that came before that too. I love all those characters.
So I'm surprised, Dylan, you're not mentioning Superman. I think Josh Williamson's done a good job. I thought House of Brainiac, as far as DC events in the last 5 years, might have been the best one. It's certainly up there, right?
It's been mid. It hasn't been egregiously bad, but it hasn't been good either. At the beginning, there was some stuff I enjoyed, like what they did with Parasite, and I liked Jamal's art's great, but it's not very good. I hate everything he's done with Lex Luthor. Everything he's done with Lex Luthor has been just the dumbest ideas possible.
He basically turned him into Osborn from ASM.
It's so and we keep going. I hate this back and forth that we've done since the New 52, which is Lex is a good guy now. Now he's a bad guy. He's a good guy again. Now he's a bad guy. Stop with that. I hate that. It's not near as interesting when he's a good guy. I hate that. He's a bad guy. He's his main adversary. Stop making him a good guy. But also the future doesn't have me excited for that either, with Lois Lane getting superpowers and just everything. I liked what he did with the Flash a lot, but what he's doing with Superman, I'm just not into it. House of Brainiac was fine, but there was no like point in House of Brainiac where I was like, this is awesome, this is great. It was just kind of like okay the entire time, not a whole lot of ups or downs. Just that's mainly how I feel about his Superman. It's just it's fine, but I don't want fine. We just had Philip Kennedy Johnson; he was killing it.
I thought the worst moment in his Superman run is when Superman goes back to the Old West and we get the weird gay Superman cover.
Yeah, that cover was
tips out.
Yeah, and it's oddly zoomed in. Yeah, that was a weird cover.
You mean to go see Marilyn Moonlight?
Yeah,
everybody wanted that.
Then Graft.
Yeah, a lot of things, and like Dylan said, I agree.
Graft,
It's been inconsistent, and what he does, he sets up some pretty cool ideas, and then they just fall flat. He ends up when they end, they just you want more, but he just doesn't do it. He moves on to the next one. He seems to have like that ADD writing style where he just everything, I want this, and it just never really hits fully in the story.
Yeah, so like with House of Brainiac, everyone got captured. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen? They just instantly break out like a like a page later.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well,
yeah,
there's nothing.
And he does that a lot where the cliffhanger is like, oh my God, this is cool. And then it's resolved in the
resolves
first
it
page.
immediately.
Yeah, immediately. In weird ways. And then has to like retroactively explain how it happened in that way. It's very odd.
All right, Jim, you've been reading all these DC books with me. What's standing out for you?
What is standing out? I have a couple. I have The Boy Wonder by Junie Ba that I've been really enjoying. I think that might be one of those that kind of goes under the radar for some people. It's been really, really good. I didn't expect to like it at all. I thought that the art style looked crazy, but once you get into it, I really, really enjoy it. Like Dylan, I have Batman Offworld. It's been probably my favorite book by DC for the year. And
it's been lasting a year.
I know. I'm telling you, it might be next year's book of the year. 2 of it goes this way. We have that one deal, but Jason Aaron, Doug Mankey's art's great, and I didn't expect much from that either. I thought, what's going on? And then when he has it, where it's pretty much an extra little, hey, this is where Batman trained in space to kind of deal with these, alien type threats and things like that. I thought was really cool. Jay Garrick, The Flash, probably one of my favorite books overall as well. But I also have Batman First Night, which I did enjoy. It wasn't the greatest deal, but I really did. Yeah. And I really like that. And I do have Batman Superman World's Finest by Mark Waid and Dan Mora in that, because I think that's been fun and consistent. But overall, I mean, I had more than the Marvel stuff. I usually have a lot more DC books that I'm interested in. And if you see, some of the books, and even when Dylan was talking, a lot of the books that we're mentioning aren't the big giant. He has Green Lantern, which is the big, but no Batman, none of the Superman. It's these kind of smaller.
No
books.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no Wonder Woman.
No Justice League.
No. Justice League. No Nightwing, no Titans, no all that. So hopefully, with all the announcements, there's some pretty cool changes and things like that. So hopefully, everything kind of gets back on track. Maybe we get an Aquaman book next year and things like that I'd be excited about, because people need to get excited. The big two, people are just kind of like bored and not really excited about them, it seems.
Dylan, have you been reading The Boy Wonder from Junie Ba?
I have not. Been checking
Black Label. It's Damian Wayne. And every book, he tells the story of his relationship with a character. And the first one is Dick Grayson. The second one is Jason Todd. The third one is Tim Drake. And then the fourth one is Talia al Ghul. That's the best issue thus far. And it's actually really cool stuff. I don't know why it's Black Label. It's not adult material at all. It's something that you could give to a teenager. It should be like a YA graphic novel. But if you're interested in Damian Wayne and really a good characterization of his history and how tragic it is, it's actually spectacular. It's really well done.
Yeah, I might check it out then. But DC's definitely lost the identity of Black Label a long time ago.
Haven't they? It's just so weird. Have you been reading it, Sully?
I got the first issue. I bought it. And then when I read the second issue and the third issue, I was kind of, not feeling it.
I thought the first two were fine. Third dipped, and the fourth one jumped up really high with the Talia.
Yeah, the third one really just like it jumped the shark for me. But I did like the whole. I like the story structure. I like the art style. I like that. This is a guy from Senegal who was. This this comic book culture is it's an export for him. It's an import for him, and it's America, and it's this like this guy found a slice of America through French comics too, the bande dessinées, and then got onto our DC superhero comics like late in life, and now here he is with his own story, and it's just I love the art, but it's just what I think makes it a black label is because the inciting incident. It's expensive, and but Robin takes the life of a henchman. He cuts his head off, and I think that's like, you have a Robin who's murdered, who's killed, and now
he has in the regular deal. If it's Damon, he has murdered a lot. At one point, it was just like before breakfast, each day he'd kill 100 people, and that was why he had the redemption deal. But people, and recently he even killed Brother Blood in the regular deal. So, but I like it. And even then, like. I think Wes, it's because they want to make it expensive. They want to have a prestige. That's
prestige,
it. And I guess maybe you could say it just looks so different that if it was a regular, I don't know. It could be just a young adult.
Birds of Prey looks pretty fucking different. They're not calling
that looks fucking terrible. I look at that. That one gives me vertigo every time speaking of black label, I end up looking at with that out of focus art style that
waiting for your 3D glasses to put on.
I said I'm looking for the stupid shitty ones too. Those cardboard ones where oh my god, Jaws is coming.
Red and blue.
You put it on. The thing is, she's like proud of that. She said, "Oh, that's great, and we're gonna keep doing it." I'm like, okay, thanks. Like that book sucks. Speaking of which, when we were going to do this, Wes sent us all a lot of other people's lists that they were doing. I thought that the show was going to be making fun of those lists because almost every list had that Birds of Prey
zombies.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, really? I don't think that Birds of Prey has ever even been in my top 5 books the week it comes out, let alone for the year. It's ridiculous. But people just, I don't know. Wonder Woman. Holy moly.
Sully, what else is on your DC list? We've hit a lot of good stuff out there. Is there anything else that we haven't? Some low-hanging fruit?
Yeah. Detective Comics by Ram V and Company.
No.
I thought I know you guys hate it, but I
love it. It said best, right?
Dude, I love this book.
Slowest book of the year.
This is the elixir you need for Chip Zdarsky's Batman. This is a perfect balance to it. It's a slow burn. I love the art. Like, what's his name? Jason Alexander? Is that his name?
Jason Sean Alexander.
Yes, thank you.
What's the name on Seinfeld?
He was on
Summer George, and like Rafale and like his artwork.
Raphael.
Yeah. It just I liked it a lot. Now how it fits in continuity, I don't even care anymore. I mean, because there's so much going on.
You can't care because if you try to actually reconcile it with the DC universe, it won't work.
It doesn't, right? I mean,
it's bullshit.
I love it. It's very
Sully's been affected by the reality engine.
I love to, but I mean, as the Batman stories go, I mean, I like tech, and it's been a long, slow burn. It's coming to an end, and I for one like
only 3 years to tell that one story.
I know, and but it's consistently good. You know what else is?
You're gonna love that omnibus.
Yeah, I'm liking Hellblazer because I look forward to every new issue, and this is the closest.
Didn't that get canceled?
It did it? Is it probably? It's probably only a 12 issue.
Yeah, I think it's just a mini.
But it's the closest we're going to get to the authentic John Constantine of Vertigo Comics, and I'm a huge fan of. So I dig the hell out. This is one of my best comics. The art's pretty solid. Sometimes Cy Spurrier does go up. There's been two points in this book I just cringe over, like his messaging, but overall he's done a decent job with John Constantine. I have been into Superman for 2 years now, and I've got every issue now, thanks to Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics. He sent me I bought some comics and finished my run of Joshua Williamson's Superman, of which I'm liking. It's just a decent comic book. I look forward to it every month. I wish the Italian events weren't as it kind of disrupts the flow of what's going on. I'm enjoying just the insular world at Williamson's. I like Williamson's Metropolis and Superman's, cast of characters around him. So this has been pretty fun. And of course, I'm a huge lifelong Green Lantern fan. Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern is amazing. He had so much fun doing this. This is a tie-in to Absolute Power, and Hal Jordan gets loose, and he's just got so much fun finding all of these cached weapons and busting loose. It's an escape, and it works. It was really fun, and I finally picked up on a compact DC version. And
that's not best comic book of the year.
It's not
here.
Came out a decade ago.
Yeah, it did. But I mean, for the format, for the the attempt here, I mean, my comic book shop is continually putting these back on the shelves. They're pissing through this. They're selling comic books, and so as a new format in 2024, there's a lot of comic book in here for $10. And I just totally, this is my pick. I'm a huge Grant Morrison fan, and
your pick for best book of 2024 is Wonder Woman
2006. No, it's
He's voting for the
best
format.
DC Comics, for the format, for the new compact thing. Yeah, it's just give it a chance. There's a lot of comics in there for $10. I almost picked up Far Sector. I was interested to check it out. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. It was terrible. I didn't like the art. I know that Jamal Campbell, did the art. It's not my favorite, but the lettering was the worst. I just look at this poor lettering and these word balloons. I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to spend $10 on it. Yeah.
All right, Doc. Did you peruse any DC books that ended up tickling your fancy?
No.
Oh,
so
you should have checked out Green Lantern. It's fucking great.
Look, I don't mind Green Lantern. It's the problem that there is more than a Green Lantern and maybe a Yellow Lantern.
Green Lantern Corps.
Yes,
it's like a police force, but in space.
I understand that. The fact that there are more than just Green Lanterns, though, is my problem.
It's a sad lantern now, Doc. Sad lantern.
Oh, okay.
Lantern of sadness.
Look, they fucked up Green Lantern beyond all recognition, in my opinion, anyway. So, I honestly, nothing at DC interests me. So, sorry, I can't really participate on this one.
No problem. We're going to Indies next, but we do have a lot of changes coming at DC before the end of the year. Dylan, is there a book or a couple of books that you're really looking forward to that you think have a chance to crack the list?
Yeah, one that we just talked about, which was the JSA from Jeff Lemire and Diego. That's the one that I'm most looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to Jeff Lemire's Flash, his Absolute Flash. I'm going to see what he does there. Other than that, I don't think there's really any other DC books that I'm super looking forward to.
I'm kind of interested in the Green Arrow book.
Yeah, Green Arrow and Nightwing could be good. Green Arrow and Nightwing I'm interested in as well.
And then
Philip Kennedy Johnson on Batman.
Who's the new writer on Batman
and Robin? Yeah, Philip Kennedy Johnson on that.
So there's at least some stuff to kind of get excited about for DC.
Yeah.
And I even think Absolute Green Lantern from Al Ewing has the chance. That's the stuff that he does well, typically. Kind of.
Ram V and Evan Cagle have a New Gods book coming. So
yeah, I saw Jim in the comments saying he's happy Ram V's on that. Yeah. It means he doesn't have to read it.
Exactly.
We put my kids to sleep all week with that bitch. We broke it out try and read this, and then we out of
then Orion did. Daddy, read the New Gods.
Jim, is there any DC books you're really looking forward to?
Pretty much what Dylan said. I love Jeff Lemire. He's one of my favorite writers. So anything he's on, I'm always excited about. So I'm really pumped up for those. But I'm really excited for the Green Arrow book. Like you said, I think that will be really cool. And I'm actually just overall, even some of the writers that I don't love or whatnot, I'm just glad that they're mixing some things up, even if it is kind of a shuffling around. The books were getting stale. Even the books that were good at one point were really getting stale. So I'm really excited to see what these other writers have and maybe getting some excitement back, at DC, because it has been pretty stale. People are kind of bored with things. So it might pick up some interest.
All right.
Not the New Gods, though.
Let us know why you're so excited for Absolute Wonder Woman.
Well, big sword, and she's wearing pants, and she's gonna have a girlfriend.
Hey,
We're gonna have those rooftop, fight scenes where we see Diana in 5 different places. The Kelly Thompson thing, man.
Are you also going to go back and start reading like Wonder Woman wearing the mod dress and being a spy?
Yeah,
those are actually really cool issues.
You shouldn't crap on Denny O'Neil. He's a fucking legend.
No.
It was still a bad idea.
R.I.P.
He missed the
How
mark. It
dare
happens.
you, Doc?
What are you looking forward to, Sully? I'm sorry I'm screwing with you.
I'm looking forward to New Gods by Ram V and Evan Cagle. I'm looking forward to
my age. I'm looking forward to a nap as well.
I like that kind of stuff. I like Big Barda. I
love my hair out.
I love the fourth. I love Fourth World stories. That's my thing. And I didn't even mention.
Did you say Fourth World or 4-year stories? Because that's how long it'll take.
This was good too in 2024. This is kind of YA, but this is Barda. This is a retelling of Big Barda's origin story and how she met Scott Free. And then and the other New God. This is really good. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I bought 2 copies of this, one for myself and one for my 15-year-old niece, who loved it too. So I'm just like, this is
disowned you. No, actually, I really liked it as well. It was really good. Actually, I wouldn't have put it on my top list like Sully. But it was actually very good.
It didn't betray the story at all. No modernity, none of this like modern kind of messaging stuff we're always talking about. And it's just flat up a retelling of Big Barda's story, and it's wonderful. Yes,
very nice.
Thank you.
There we go. Jack Halsey says, when Doug Mankey did Swamp Thing Green Hell, there was over a year between issue 1 and 2, and now Batman Off-World has major delays. Will great artists always get work no matter their past history? Dylan, did Green Hell ever end?
Yes, it ended. It took forever, but it finally ended, and it was pretty good.
I remember reading the first issue, and then the second one got me. I was like, I forgot about that book.
Yeah, it took forever. I remember in between that time, they announced Jeff Lemire was going with Image exclusively.
Yeah.
Is this book gonna happen? What's going on? And then the book was just disappeared for a year, and then it came back. I was like, oh, I guess everything's all right. Yeah.
And it must have driven Jeff Lemire insane because he really prides himself in not delaying stuff, and then that thing was delayed for a year.
Yeah, it took a while. It was good though. I liked it.
Yeah, it sucks with Off-World being delayed too, and then. Delays just suck.
Yeah, delays do.
And delays destroyed DC Comics. That's the reason that Doomsday Clock ended up not mattering and happening out of continuity.
Yep.
Sad.
I don't know, Doc. Will Doug Mankey always get work? Because he is a fantastic artist. Doc has left.
Yes. He was during Superman Rebirth, him and Patrick Gleason teamed off on bi-weekly, and he was there weren't any delays there. Him and Patrick Gleason just hand the stick off to each other, and that was good. But granted, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
he also did Detective Comics monthly there for 6 months and didn't miss any dates.
Yeah, so he can do it. So I don't know what's going on as of late, but he's shown he can do it.
Yeah. Some of these guys, I mean, they're great. Maybe like we had Gary Frank or Paul Pelletier. Maybe now a mini series is weird, but you have to get some build in. Hey, you do 5 issues, then you'll 2 in, fill in, and stuff like that. Just have
that's why Nick Klein doesn't do all of fucking.
They just picked a bad fill in.
They're gonna have a fill in art.
Yeah.
Same thing with Marco Cicchetto. He was always doing one arc and then off for Daredevil, and now he's doing the same thing with Ultimate Spider-Man. Essentially.
Yeah, and John Romita Jr., he's a little older, so they did that with ASM as well.
Yeah, John Romita Jr. could do two books a month. But if you're a good artist, you're going to be in demand because there aren't a ton of them out there right now. But it definitely hurts the book. Let's move over to the indie comics because this is really where things have been hot in 2024. I would throw it to Sully first, but he's not here. Jim, what are your standout indie books that just get you super excited every week?
I have a lot. Actually, and this is where, again, I'm a big DC guy first, and I do a bunch of things Marvel, but it's been the indie stuff that I've enjoyed. I start with Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Horvath. I didn't even know anything about the book, and then I ended up reading it. It's a serial killer story with animals, and it's really, really good. I also have Duke, Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley. I have Geiger, Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Rook Exodus, Jeff Johns, Jason Farbach. It keeps going. Transformers, Daniel Warren Johnson, Jorge Corona. Redcoat, Jeff Johns, and Andrew Curry. Conan the Barbarian is my last one.
Redcoat is Brian Hitch.
And what's that? Oh, yeah. You know
Brian
what?
Hitch.
They end up always messing it up.
You got the
Andrew Curry
colorist
is
or
part
something.
of the deal. Yeah, they always do that. I just grabbed the credits from the roundup. So, yeah, it is Brian Hitch. And Conan the Barbarian. Roberto De La Torre and Jim Zub, which is really good. But there's even more. Like, I could keep going. I ended up.
You didn't even mention Dawn Runner. Ramsey and everything.
Yeah, I actually do like that. That's my one book I do like. And I didn't mention Sacrificers, which I really enjoy as well. There's so many. I mean, the list for indie could be, a mile long because there is a lot more books. And also, I did name the letters page on the Sacrificers, so I should have put that. But in the meantime, indie books I wasn't a real big indie guy. And I have become mainly, as a fan, more of an indie guy. Yeah, I'm Mr. Indie, indeed. But no,
what's
that's
the one indie book you think nobody should miss, though? Like, what's the one that super stands out to you?
See, that's maybe Rook Exodus at the moment. But Conan's really good. Transformers, and I could keep going on and on. But I'd say Rook
name
Exodus.
All your children as being your favorite, Jim.
Well, I don't. They have to fight for my love. That's what they have to do. So each time a book comes out, it's fighting. But I'll say Rook Exodus right now would be the one that I would think, and it's easy to get into because it just kind of started. But I would say that as the book that I would go with.
Does it have the best art in all of indie comic books, or maybe just all of comic books?
Yeah, I think it does.
What do you think, Dylan? Is that the best illustrated book?
Did you say Transformers or Rook Exodus?
Rook Exodus.
Rook Exodus is amazing looking.
Yeah.
Every time the bear guy shows up, it is awesome. When he shows up and he's just got all the giant bears, it's incredible. And it's getting all the hype for a reason. If you're watching a stream and you're not reading Rook Exodus right now, you're missing out big time.
Yeah, I just did a spotlight on it. I had to cut myself down to 25 minutes. I would have gone for an hour talking about how much I liked it, but it is the art. When they showed all the other wardens, but it was only one page, and you see like the samurai deer guy, and the wasp guy, the spider guy, and even the bunny warden, and the rooster warden. I was like, they all look great.
Everything was cool. Jason Fabok's been doing that forever. Like every time he's on a book, it looks amazing.
So what do you think? What are your big standout indie books this year?
I have a pretty big list too. I really enjoyed Blood Rick from Andrew Cronky. I thought that was really cool. It was only 3 issues, but it was
those are really long though.
Yeah.
It's almost silent though, right?
Yeah. Basically, because it's basically just like a narrator that's telling you about this great hunter. And it's like if anyone's watched Primal, it's that animated show from the guy that did Samurai Jack. It's kind of like that a little bit. Dude's going out trying to hunt things and just is always starving and delirious from starving. And it's great. The situation he gets himself in. There's even one issue where there's like 3 pages dedicated to him ripping a guy's jaw off. So that's pretty cool. I really liked Blood Rick. All the Ghost Machine stuff, Geiger, Rook Exodus, Redcoat. All of those are great. I'm personally biased towards Geiger. I love Geiger. Geiger's my favorite. But all 3 of those are really good. Duke and Cobra Commander, I thoroughly enjoyed. Thought those were both pretty good. Duke, I thought was better than Cobra Commander, but I liked them both. The Big Burn, it's only 1 issue out right now from Joe Henderson and Lee Garbett, but I like the premise for it. It seems pretty cool. Doing a heist in hell, that sounds interesting. I liked it. That's that distillery book. Canary from Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian, the Western, it's sort of like a horror Western. I liked it. It was pretty good. I thought it was enjoyable. I'm a big Western fan, so I was happy about that. I really liked how all that went down. If you're looking for a horror Western, it's pretty good. Houses of the Unholy just came out this week from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It's pretty good. I love everything they do, so it's always worth checking out. You'll never regret reading an Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips book. The Tenement, part of the Bone Orchard mythos from Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Horror book from those 2 guys. Enjoyed that. And then my last book is The Witcher Corvo Bianco, which is like a 5-issue miniseries. I think we're at issue 3. If you like the Witcher games, it's just a continuation of like one of the DLCs from that. It's pretty good. I like it.
So you're a big Western fan. Why is your favorite Western movie The Sacrificers? I'm sorry, The Searchers.
It's not The Searchers. I like The Searchers, but it's not. High Plains Drifter is my favorite. I love High Plains Drifter.
The Searchers is one of the greatest films of all time.
It is great, but I love High Plains Drifter. With Unforgiven up there too.
Did you not like the Enfield Gang Massacre?
I did. I really did. But that was like only the final issue came out this year.
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't rank it. It was.
Are you like it? Ain't No Grave? It's kind of got Western, but with fantasy elements to it.
I read one issue of it and I didn't care about it.
The first issue sucked, or it didn't suck, but it was just kind of average, and it just kind of got better from there. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't check it out. I read the one issue and I was like, I'm good. I don't need to read the rest of this.
So, what's the one indie series that really stands out? That, like, if you had to put your name on it, you're like, you should read this one. This is the one that you can't miss. You know, obviously for Jim it was Rook Exodus. What's it going to be for you?
My personal favorite's Geiger, but if I'm putting for someone new coming in, I would say Rook Exodus as well, because Geiger's got, more baggage with the other series, to where Rook Exodus, you can just jump right in and it's amazing. I don't think anyone will be disappointed by picking up Rook Exodus.
The smart thing he's done with Geiger is, Geiger essentially has no humanity. He's kind of lost that with himself. And after the revelations in the first, volume of Geiger, like, how are you going to get that back? And adding the Atomic Knight, the Nuclear Knight, whatever his name is,
Nate,
has added that element to it, which I think has made it very refreshing and a more fun read than it was before.
Yeah.
I agree. You have these two guys that are very different going on a road trip, essentially, in the post-apocalypse. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Are you a fan of the dog?
I love the dog. I've got like a long sleeve with the dog on it.
So you did get that. I went over to Ghost Machine and I saw they have apparel. I'm like, well, I'm going to get me a Rook Exodus shirt. I'm going to get one of the ones with the mask. You can't get one with just the mask. They've all got the Rook Exodus logo on it. I was like, I don't want the logo for the name. I just want the thing. The only one that doesn't have a logo is the the two-headed dog.
Yeah, that's why I have two of them. I have that, and I've got the Junkyard Joe comic strip hoodie. Those are the two that I got.
So you're excited for Junkyard Joe as well?
Yes, I loved the miniseries.
They might have hinted at him at the last issue.
Yeah, and they're coming out with a Junkyard Joe action figure. I'm definitely getting that.
That's McFarlane, right?
I think so. Yeah, I believe McFarlane's doing it. But I really enjoyed the Junkyard Joe miniseries, so I'm excited for him to make a comeback.
So you would suggest people go and fully invest in Geiger and the unnamed universe?
Definitely, especially if you're one of those people that's really been avoiding modern comics for a while. Like, you have a whole new universe to jump in, and there's like several different series for Geiger you can jump into that just like get immersed.
Like an 80-page giant. You got Junkyard Joe.
Yeah. Then the 2-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
For Geiger. Yeah. There's a lot. It
all ties into this one timeline that's super duper long, where they're jumping in and telling different stories at different points on it.
Yeah. And it's all quality.
Man, the Redcoat stuff's fun. If you like a little humor in their book, I think that one works out pretty well too.
Yeah, Redcoat's good.
All right, Sully, the optimist of the team.
Me?
What indie books are really tickling your fancy?
Well, I would be remiss if I did not include right off the bat Jim Zub's Conan. I don't buy it. I've never been a Conan fan, but every time I get slipped an issue of this month's Conan, it's just, I'm impressed with the art, with the storytelling, the maturity, the violence, the nudity, the musculature, the ink, the pencil work. It's all around. It's a really, really awesome book. And if you're not buying Conan like me, you'll occasionally get a copy. Like, this is my free comic book day copy. This just wrapped up. This was The Sickness on Uncivilized Books. They were like $6 each. This was done by Donnie Nadler and Jenna Cha, and it's just black and white, simple line work, but it's really grotesque. It's really trippy. It's like Twilight Zone. And I love this book. This book for me, this is a comic book. It's, it flies under everyone's radar, and it's pretty good.
The cover sucks.
Dude, the interior art, and this is some good shit. I mean, seriously, I feel like I'm one of like 7 people that know about this book, and more people should know about this book, especially comics fans. I think it's really nice. It's just pencils, man, black and white, and it totally works.
Very nice.
A bunch of image books. I'm in love with Transformers, with Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. It's a fun book. Energon Universe is fun. I'm really looking forward to Joshua Williamson's G.I. Joe.
We haven't got to that point yet.
Yeah, Exactly. I mean, but I'm loving look at this splash page. This is Jorge Corona, and he's kind of mimicking Daniel Warren Johnson's style a bit here, and it just fits really well. I look forward to this book a lot. There's a Local Man by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks, and one of the best parts about reading this is being a monthly floppy reader. It's a flip book. And so it has a backup feature set in that 30 years ago image past, and then you flip it over and you read it like a normal comic book. And you can only do this in a floppy. And I think it takes wonderful advantage of the medium itself. I love this book. I look forward to every new issue. We got Sacrificers by Rick Remender and Max Fuma. This actually had Andre Lima Araujo, sorry if I messed up your name, on art, but this thing is just so good. Just G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero by Larry Hama. This thing is so fun every month. I look forward to it. I look forward to my next serial. I look forward to this next chapter, this little sliver, this floppy, these comic books. This is why we're here. I love this stuff. I love these little magazines. Yeah, they're expensive. They're not, you don't roll them up and put them in your back pocket anymore, but still, they keep you going and they keep me coming back. And I really like that. And I just wanted to mention, of course, some Ram V, because I'm on Boom Studios. He just wrapped this up. It's called Rare Flavors. This is a wonderful comic book. It has such a curated color palette, and it has a culinary aspect to it as well, because there's like Indian food. I love Indian food. I'm a professional chef. I love to cook. And so there's such a wonderful kind of introspective sensitivity here for me professionally. I love this book. And it's just got this like really weird ending. And I like Ram V. I might be the only like Ram V, enjoyer.
I like Ram V when he tells a 5-issue story or an 8-issue story. I don't like Ram V when he tells a 36-issue story.
Well, this was a 6-issue story, so maybe maybe it's a cup of tea.
So I like Dawn Runner
and Rook Exodus, because this is darn right toyetic. I mean, this is great stuff. It's fun. Everyone's been talking about that. And this is a mini. It's going to wrap up, I think, in one more issue or two. It's called Precious Metal. This is by Darcy Van Polgeist and art by Ian Bertram. And this is just the art in this. It's straight out of like Heavy Metal magazine in like 1979. It's got this Mobius feel, this Euro thing. And I'm so impressed with the art and just like this weird, grotesque sci-fi story. It keeps me coming back for more. And those are the best indie comics of 2004.
All right, what's your number one? What's the one that you think everyone should read?
It's Local Man, because it's fun, and it has that flip book quality that you're only going to get if you go to your local comic book shop and pick up a floppy. We're not talking digital. We're not talking trade paperbacks or collections here. No, your monthly slice, of the story.
Wait until they start doing digital variants where if you flip over your tablet, it goes to the other fucking side of the book.
Yeah, that'll be frustrating. Yeah. Tony Fleeks has been super hot though in 2024. Obviously, he's got The Local Man that he's co-writing with Seeley, but he's also got Feral with Trish Forrester, which has been really good. And then he's also got Uncanny Valley, which has been really awesome as well. I can't believe Jim didn't mention Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think it's the best of though compared to the others.
It's still fun.
Yeah, it is.
I like that one. But Tony Fleeks, super duper hot. I think he's doing a little mini series at Marvel soon too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He's just doing the solicitations.
Yeah, Transformers. I mean,
Transformers has been fantastic.
My favorite story beat in this entire thing so far is Soundwave's love of his dog. I love that. I mean, Soundwave misses Ravage. Yeah, he's like, I must fix my Ravage and just.
Is anybody else reading The Last Mermaid?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Derek Kirkham.
It's wrapping up.
Another surprise one. Yeah, really good art in that one. All right, Doc, you got any books that you want to rave about and talk about that you think should be in consideration for the best of the year?
Well, for indies, there are a couple of books that I'll recommend, and one will be Transformers.
It is good, isn't it?
It is. I started reading it recently and started getting myself caught up. And you know what? It's a good fun story. And then I'll have to go. You know what? I like the Duke series.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I like the Cobra Commander series. The Cobra Commander series went a little very different than I expected it to go, but I enjoyed it. Then
wasn't expecting Cobra Law. They really went on it.
Not like right at the beginning. Like I was not expecting that at all. I was kind of waiting for used car salesman.
Man, Doc is talking good about the Energon universe. You know he's starting to turn around.
I'm still not buying new comics, but I started reading things.
I got you.
Then, I've heard nothing but great things. I've only like kind of flipped through some of the Ghost Machine stuff, and it's not bad. Rook
Exodus, great art in every book.
Yeah, you really do. Rook Exodus looks probably the best, but I think I like Geiger the most. But honestly,
well, Geiger is a character that should be an X-Men.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That he kind of powers up on radiation and then blows it out.
What he should be is he should have been in X-Men 2099. With kind of the wastelands and everything like that. Most of that seems like it would fit well in kind of a future dystopia Marvel series, which I can kind of get behind, but at the same time,
that's why I can understand why you like Geiger the most. It's like the most Marvel thing that they're doing easily.
Yeah. So, it's I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm not reading. I refuse to read any book that has a sentence for a title.
I hate that stuff. Falling in love on the path to hell.
Yeah, like if it's
pretty good, man.
I don't give a fuck.
Terrible name.
If I can't, if the name of if the title of the book is longer than 3 words, it's too long.
How about this one, Doc? The Rocketeer : breaks free. The subtitle is breaks free.
No,
it's just the Rocketeer breaks free.
Yeah, it's just a full sentence. Well, if they were to do like Rocketeer breakout, cool.
That's a different thing. That's a different concept. There's another one. DC from the Vault, Death in the Family, Robin lives.
Nope. You get beyond one subtitle, you get into second subtitle territory. The book is automatic shit. The movie is automatic shit. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You've made it bad.
Bordeaux's got a point. It is the Rocketeer's : breaks free.
Yeah, you know.
The Rocketeer's : breaks free?
Like
I mean,
now we're talking. That means something completely different.
I feel like he should probably go buy a diaper.
Yes.
Or a butt plug.
Stop eating chili.
Yeah. Like, did you eat Taco Bell last night? There's your problem. You ate Taco Bell for dinner or Arby's.
Book over.
Yeah. No. So anything with a full sentence for a title, automatically discarded. Won't even pick it up. Won't give it a try. It could be goddamn Shakespeare. I'm never gonna buy it. I'll never read it, and I will say that it is garbage just because of the title.
I'm with you, man. I find that endlessly frustrating.
Yeah.
So of the books, what's the best? Is it Transformers? Is it Duke? Is it Cobra Commander? Which one do you put your rep on?
I'm gonna have to go with Transformers because it's the only ongoing. All the rest of them were miniseries.
It's true, and it's good.
Yeah, and until any of the Ghost Machine stuff continues beyond kind of mini maxi series territory, like you get up to 18 or 20 issues, I'm still going to consider you a miniseries because I can't believe you're going to stick around.
that is one of the worries. There's a few indications out there. I don't want to get too into it that maybe something's going on there, but hopefully it's just anomalies and stuff. So something that you didn't mention, I was surprised that you didn't say anything about it, Dylan, was Nottingham. We do have the 3rd volume of that coming out.
Yeah, because I read it in trade. That's why I haven't said anything about Nottingham. I really like Nottingham, but yeah, I'm a trade waiter on Nottingham. So
with David Azan and Shane Connery-Volk, really good looking comic book.
Yeah, really unique art style.
Yeah. The only one, well, we've mentioned a lot of stuff that I would say is really good, but the one that I think is really good, that I think is like vying for my top 5, top 10, indie book of the year status that nobody mentioned was Space Ghost. Shockingly, David Pepos is doing a pretty damn good job on there. Really, really good art. I'm loving that with Jim, and I don't know Space Ghost, but I really enjoy the book.
Yeah, I didn't like the first issue as much as most people, but since then it's been really, really good. And there's a couple books that might end up being pretty good, like Jeremy Adams' Flash Gordon, it's one issue, so you can't really say that yet. But I even liked enough. I don't think it'll be a book of the year, but Johnny Quest was fun enough if you know Johnny Quest. But I like all those books. It's one of the, the trends that I'm really enjoying, going back to those properties.
Thundercats.
Not everyone's hit, but yeah, there you go. But yeah, I like all of those. But yeah, Space Ghost is actually, starting to impress me more and more.
Art T. Bear says best comic of the year, Black and White Volume 2. He's out for that one.
Cannot entirely disagree with him.
He might be biased. Come on. But no, it's absolutely fantastic. Definitely be checking that one out. Have you checked out Space Ghost, Dylan? What's it going to take me to get you in Space Ghost?
Not much. I actually, when I was at the shop last week, I was looking for Space Ghost, see if they had the first issue, and they didn't. That's what held me back. I was like, I don't want to jump in at the newest issue. So I'll eventually check it out. I might just end up getting it in trade, though.
Might be a trade waiter on that one.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff, standard superhero fare in space. But, it does ape enough and has enough of the little callbacks to, 1960s storytelling with some of the way that they talk and stuff. But the art is definitely modern art. It just looks really cool. So kind of blown away and very surprised on Space Ghost. Now, Sully, you would have grown up with Space Ghost. Is it a good interpretation?
I read that first issue. David P. Post got me blocked on Twitter out of some adjacency group block list, which I think is what an asshole.
He's a bitch.
I mean, I didn't have an interaction with you. Now I can't buy your comic books. I'm not going to do that to myself. I mean, seriously. I mean, what are you thinking? I'm going to buy your book now? And you have
a did tell my homie Perch to keep his name out his mouth.
He is a dick.
Yeah,
I mean, he's straight up dick. But yeah,
that's
which I want to mention. He did review comics at one point and has a way lower aggregate score than I have, and yet he bitches and moans if anybody gives him anything less than perfect score. So
well, that's because he's a pussy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Well, I grew up on the original cartoon in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon in reruns. And then in my 20s, I had the gift of Space Ghost Coast to Coast on Cartoon Network and the Brack Show, which was this the most absurd kind of, it was like American Monty Python using old Hanna-Barbera clips. And it was just so funny. So then walking into David P. Post's Space Ghost #1, I just didn't like the over serious treatment of it. It was like new Battlestar Galactica. You know what I mean? Like there's bloodshed and there's.
You mean the show that was 1 billion times better than the original?
I just think they're
I'm saying I think there might be a thing that if you are a fan or new Space Ghost more than just Coast to Coast, I think that first issue was a little off-putting. It really was. I had problems with it, but then the second issue and since then I've been enjoying it.
No, that's cool. Yeah. And
now, Jim, you had a personal beef, a vendetta that wasn't going to get squashed with Jim Zub.
Yeah,
you weren't going to get into Conan the Barbarian.
No,
but eventually you guys worked it out, and now you're into Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah,
which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, and that was a personal thing. But David Pepos, unless he stops being a dick, I'll always hate him. But I do agree that book's good. But like his Punisher book was god awful, just
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
Besides even not being a Frank Castle Punisher, where most people didn't even get involved with it, but the book itself just sucked. It was awful, and all he did was cry about it and how people didn't like it and woe is me, and screw him.
But not screw Jim's up because you guys.
No,
he actually.
What the problem I had, he went and actually looked back and looked at it, said that, oh my God, it did look pretty bad. He apologized, and that's all you need to do. But I mean, it's hard to have somebody say, I apologize for being an asshole. I mean, you can in a certain instant, but if that's your whole deal, what are you going to apologize for? And I don't think he would apologize for that. He's a dick.
I just for no reason to, but
don't like him. And
Conan the Barbarian
who would block Sully?
Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Conan the Barbarian is my next series that's going to get a spotlight. It'll probably be up next week or maybe the week after that, but I'm going to go in there and explain to everybody why I think it's just absolutely amazing. And Art T-Bear's got a point. You should give this video a thumbs up. Absolutely. And let everyone know that we're having a good time here. And I think that'll basically wrap up our indie stuff. I think I know the answer on this one, Dylan. What indie books are you looking forward to that are going to launch out before the end of the year?
What do we got? I haven't even looked at what we have.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, we have G.I. Joe.
Not Daniel. Josh Williamson, Tom Riley.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, I'm looking forward to see what they do with that, especially because he's so good on the minis for Cobra Commander and Duke. So I'm excited for that. But in truth, I don't know what's launching for indies. I haven't really taken a look.
Well, we've got the Rockefellers from Peter J. Tomasi, and then you got the one with like the two kids that are raised by angels and devils. We've got Hyde Street with Ivan Reis, which could be pretty good.
Hyde Street looks good.
That's kind of the stuff that's kind of stood out to me. There is a Daniel Warren Johnson project that's going to come out before the end of the year that he's writing and illustrating. But it's like more like do a power bomb than Transformers. It's new ideas.
When's Victor Bogdanovich's book come out? That's something I'm looking forward to. His like sort of almost horror Western type book. When's that come out? That's one I'm excited for.
I want to look out for that. Vic is awesome.
Yeah, his it's like his solo book that he's been like his creator-owned book that he's been promoting, but it's not out yet. I would
definitely check that one out too.
Yeah. I don't know when it's supposed to come out, but he's been promoting it. That's one that I'm looking forward to whenever that happens.
Halo and Hornsby is the Peter J. Tomasi kids raised by devils and angels, and they've been like swapped around. Jim, you got any indie books that you know about that are going to be coming out that you're excited for?
And everything you mentioned, I really, indie side of things, I love it. I don't really ever know what's coming out on the indie deal. But the G.I. Joe and all of the Ghost Machine, until something doesn't hit with Ghost Machine, I'll always end up, grabbing.
You just get all of them?
Yep. I'll be
reading
all of them.
I'm trying to look at the name of this book that I saw. I think it's Knights versus Samurais. Knights versus Samurai #1 Image Comics. It's going to be $3. I don't even know who the creators are on this one. Wait, no, yes, I do. It's Francesco Mentita, but I'm definitely getting me some Knights versus Samurais September 25th. It's like everything I like in a book. Medieval knights from England fighting samurais in Japan. Sold. Mm-hmm. All right, Sully, you got any books you're looking forward to?
It's the usual suspects here, like G.I. Joe, and
what about Kneel Before Doomface? You looking forward to that one?
Before Doomface, that should be out soon, right?
So it should be funding soon.
That should be funding soon. I'll fund that. Yeah, I'll fund the heck out of that. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know what's coming.
Ultra Mega is coming back. I forgot about that. Ultra Mega was good.
Mm-hmm.
You like kaiju?
Not really, but I know Sickness is having a volume 2 that's coming out soon. Looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to these Ghost Machine stuff too. It's I like being surprised, and I'm getting the most surprises from the indie scene, and so bring it on, please. Yeah,
very nice. Doc, do you have any indie books that you're looking out for, or maybe stuff that you know is going to be coming up on Kickstarter or crowdfunding?
I mean, Kneel Before Doomface is really the only one that and you know what? Black and White. Mm-hmm. I think there's another one. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Is Kneel Before Doomface too long of a title for you, though?
Ooh.
It's 3 words.
Neil before colon
Doomface.
Doomface.
It's Neil before Doomface. Doomface is one word. It's his name.
There's a lot of syllables in there, though, Doc. I mean,
there's a lot of syllables.
Going on.
It's not. It's not a syllable issue. It's a word issue. Yeah.
What about Wolverine, America's Most Wanted?
Who's doing it?
Mark Miller did it, didn't he?
Oh, you mean Wolverine, Enemy of the State?
Enemy of the State. My bad. Still.
Okay, that's old. That's like really old. That was.
Well, I'm just saying. Did you like it? By your rules, you shouldn't even have read it.
No, Wolverine. It was just in the Wolverine solo title. It was not a
story arc.
Yeah, it was just the name of a story arc. The next story arc was Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was Wolverine like 25 through 30.
Well, I'm going to find something that you love that breaks your rules, and I'm
same way the Old Man Logan.
Doc, are you taking suggestions?
Sure.
May I make one? Okay, I just got turned on to Image Comics at issue 6. It's called Public Domain by Chip Zdarsky, and it's this really interesting meta journey of an old comic book with two older creators, and they're trying to bring it into a modern market and make it a family business, and all the need for modernization versus pushing back on these old Bronze Age values. That's something I'm looking forward to more.
Comics about comics. No.
Yeah, but
it's like
it's okay.
No, it's the same.
I don't
as
read
movies
Chip Zdarsky
about
any books because of the amount of dicks that I see in them. Once I got through like the second indie book, I was like, I'm never doing this shit again.
It's like walking through the
I'll
Greek
read
wing.
fucking Daredevil.
I hate television shows about television shows.
I hate
movies. I hate movies about movies. The only movie about movies that I've ever liked was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And even that, it was very hard for me to accept it, except for the fact that it was Tarantino. Just because
the big ones what we're missing, Doc. We've got Jupiter's Legacy finale.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
we've got Nightclub Volume 2,
Nemesis Rogues Gallery.
I thought Nemesis Rogues Gallery's already out.
The first issue of that and Prodigy are out, but there's a third one.
But no, look, anything by Mark Miller and Miller World is just kind of an automatic. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. The only one that I think I'm sick of at this point is Kick-Ass.
There hasn't been a Kick-Ass book in like 6 years.
I know, but I got so sick of it like 15
He's
years
real
ago
sick of it.
that I'm still not interested. Like I got burned out on it because he kept doing, it was just miniseries and there was no gap between them. It was the same thing as modern Marvel doing. And that one irritated me, but regardless, but the rest of it, no, I'm down for anything Mark Miller does. I mean, Brubaker and Phillips just had their book start, and I'm always in for something that they do. But again, nothing that can get my ass out of the house and to the comic shop.
Yeah, but a bale of weed will get you to the fucking casino on the res.
No, that's me buying like 20 cartons of cigarettes.
Oh, it's
smart. That has nothing to do with anything other than I'm saving like $1,000 fucking dollars.
You're driving out of state. You can't go to your fucking LCS.
I'm saving $1,000. I go to the fucking LCS. They cost me money and way too much money for what it's worth.
There we go. He's got standards. Chuck Skills says, really digging Ghost Machine and Energon Universe, but I'm also enjoying Conan, Feral, and Napalm Lullaby. So Napalm Lullaby is another book from Rick Remender. While I really enjoy The Sacrificers, and I am enjoying Grommets, Napalm Lullaby did not do it for me, Jim. I read the first issue and I kind of noped.
I'm with you. A lot of people suggested it to me. I read the first issue and I kind of bowed out. I didn't like it overall, the art style and the story itself, which wasn't for me.
Yeah. So you're going to get that stuff with the Remender.
I didn't name the letters page in that either. So that is not a connection I have with it.
Why didn't you name the letters pages in Void Rivals talk to the Handroid. That's the most clever one out there. And you didn't do it.
Yes, I didn't do that. No, I wish I did.
Very good. So definitely the Ghost Machine stuff's been great. Really looking forward to G.I. Joe. But in Energon, we do have Scarlet, so at least there's been a couple of down moments there, which hasn't hit Ghost Machine yet. Scarlet just sucks.
It's terrible.
Let's get into some comic book recommendations. It's been all about the positive here this week. We got Dylan. People don't know this, but you're also our big MMA correspondent. We do have a big event coming up this weekend. I think it's going on in Australia. What do people need to know?
Perth.
Is this a one-fight card? Is this a real card?
No, it's a good card. It's not the best card, but it's a good card. We got DDP from South Africa fighting Israel Adesanya.
Diamond Dallas Page is in the MMA now?
He's doing it.
Dricus Duplessis. He made him cry at the press conference, so that was great. I'm hoping Dricus wins because it pisses off all the right people. Israel Adesanya is very annoying and not a fun fighter to watch, so I'm hoping Dricus wins.
He's also a stick figure. He's probably going to get knocked out.
Maybe, but he also has a gigantic reach advantage over everyone in that division, so it's hard to get to him. There's also a something very interesting that's free you can check out. There's a grappling event going on right now called the Craig Jones Invitational. Craig Jones, one of the best BJJ guys there is. He's going to be wrestling a 6'2", 250-pound woman, Brazilian woman that is roided out of her mind, and it's just like a freak grappling event.
I've seen this lady before.
Yeah, Gabby Garcia.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's literally no weight limit for her anywhere that she can compete because she's roided herself out of traditional weight limits for women.
Yeah, she's humongous. Craig Jones is hilarious and legitimately a great grappler, and they're going to be grappling today in a BJJ tournament, which is free on YouTube. You can watch it. It's going to be funny. He's going to destroy her.
Here's my thing. If this is why there's no winning for the guy here. Because, okay, he beats the shit out of her. Congratulations, you beat up a woman. It doesn't matter how roided up she is.
No, you gotta Google this. And
I saw her.
She's literally like a caveman.
I know, but you still beat up a woman. I mean, and then if you lose, you lost to a woman.
Well, the thing is with this is like you're taking more seriously than anyone is. It's a complete joke. Everyone knows the joke because Craig Jones is legitimately one of the best, and everyone knows he's going to destroy. Even though she's like 2 inches taller and has like a 40-pound weight advantage on him. Everyone knows he's going to submit her so fast. But the thing that he's going for is he's going for a leg lock. He's going for like a heel hook or something. So he's specifically going for one submission, which will make it a bit more interesting instead of doing whatever he wants. But it's just
big show
like,
fight.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And if you've seen the promotion for it, it's hilarious. That Craig Jones is a really funny guy. So it's been very funny.
I get it. I get the freak show fights. Sometimes I'm like, ugh. I understand the novelty. I just don't see how this is a win for anybody.
It's entertaining.
He's fighting a baby next.
It's entertainment, and it's grappling again. It's not a fight. They're not going to be beating each other.
It could be. Right. It could be worse. They could have hired an Australian to fight an emu.
That is
true. Craig Jones is Australian, so.
Well, then next time he can fight an emu.
Australian versus.
So Dylan, we've also got Kai Kara of France on the card, I believe. Is it
fighting Steve Urseg? Yeah.
Was it Dan Hooker? Is he on there?
Yes, Dan Hooker's on here. He's got a bunch of really stupid tattoos now. He did a whole makeover. Yeah, there's some. They got like all the Taito Avasa's fighting. Hopefully he doesn't get starched again. He's been on the downslope, but he's a fun guy. He wins, he'll do a shoey. So that's his thing. So yeah, there's some fun fights on the card.
What's your prediction on the main event?
I think DDP decisions him. I think he's one of the few guys that can actually get Adesanya down and hold him down. And I think he's going to be too much for him, and he'll pressure him. But I don't think he'll finish him. I don't think so. But I think he's gonna. I hope so. I hope he does. But Adesanya's had a chance. Pajeda's the only person that's been able to crack him, and that guy cracks anyone. So I don't know about DDP finishing him. I hope he does, but I don't see it.
Very nice. Is there anything people should be looking at, whether it be on Twitch, podcasts, YouTube, that they should be looking at before you talk about these recommendations?
Yeah, definitely check out the channel. I'm always talking about comics on there, but recently I just did the podcast with my brother where we talked about Alien Romulus and Batman Cape Crusader. So you want to hear our thoughts on that, check that out. And as far as comics this week, there's actually a good bit that I enjoyed. DC vs. Vampires World War V #1 came out. Green Arrow carried that book. I really liked how Green Arrow was characterized there, so that was pretty cool. Green Lantern number 14, just seeing Hal just stumble through with a bunch of different items from the DC universe and using all of them was pretty fun. I didn't like the first part of Action Comics from Gail Simone, but this last issue was readable. I'd say if you're looking for a Superman book, you can check it out. It's not bad. House of the Unholy, the Ed Brubaker book, just came out this week with Sean Phillips. It's really good. It's always really good. So how about that? And then Geiger number 5, as we talked about earlier. Geiger's really good. New issue of Geiger's out, so check that out.
I thought it was a nice rebound issue. I thought 4 was a little flat, and then 5 was pretty exciting. I really like that villain.
Yeah, that villain was good. I agree. Finally given more of like a name and a face and like characterization to a villain. Before it's kind of been just like nameless random people that show up.
He definitely looks like a serial killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good one.
Yeah.
Very nice. We got links to Dylan's YouTube channel. Next up, Sully. What should people be on the lookout from you? And do you have any comic books to recommend?
I got 3 comic books this week at my local comic book shop. I picked up Precious Metal number 3. Spoke about it earlier. This is really feast for the eyes and really out there sci-fi. I got Transformers number 11. Wonderful book. Keep them coming. It keeps me coming back every week, every Wednesday. And Incredible Hulk number 15, even with art by Danny Earl. This one was really, it's still really good. I like this book a lot. I got the Calico trade paperback at the Wicked Boston Comic Con last weekend from H.H. German himself. And it's a good read. Looking forward to finishing this finally. And those are my picks. I got a couple of books from Yule Carter and a Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. He sent me I bought from him the X-Men number 1, the Peach Momoko variant cover from Ryan Stegman and Jed McKay, and he helped me finish out my Williamson run of Superman. I needed like issue 2, the 2023 annual, and a random issue of House of Brainiac. And now I have the complete run. Now I'm happy.
Very, very nice.
Thank you for having me on, Wes. And as always, it's a cool conversation with the coolest people and the best live chat in the world. And we get the best comments, and the conversation continues in your comment section, which is always fun to check out a couple of days, into it,
Absolutely. Next up, we got Jim. You got big things popping on the podcast, on the written reviews, on the YouTube. Anything people should be looking out for?
Just the regular stuff. I haven't done many comic videos the last couple of weeks. I've been sick, and right now I actually have COVID.
That's how you almost died this week.
Yeah, that was it. I missed the beginning because my dog was going nuts. But I have COVID right now, so I'm a little under the weather and tired. But besides that, just all the podcast stuff like that. Little dirty songs going on, all that stuff. Sully knows that. A little side channel deal. And in fact, if anybody wants to go, it's Sus Records is what that is. If anybody wants to check those out, that actually, sadly, is doing way better than the comic stuff. I mean, way, way better. But with that, I do have some suggestions. Actually, I agree with Dylan. A lot of good books this week. And I actually am happy to actually say Batman and Robin. Number 12 was pretty decent. I haven't really loved the run. You have Joshua Williamson coming to the end of it, but the story with Bane and Vengeance versus Batman and Damian's pretty good. Also, I will say Green Lantern, number 14. Same reason Dylan said. I also love Geiger, number 5, and Transformers, number 11 are my picks.
Absolutely. And finally, last but not least, obviously, Doc and I will have our conversation about gimmicks tomorrow, and then our review of X-Men number 2 up on Monday. Do you have any new books that you would like to recommend, or are we going in the Wayback Machine?
Oh, we're always going in the Wayback Machine with me. I am never going, at least now, the comic industry has to do a massive 180 for me to get on board enough to actually buy new books. But so we will go with first, Wildcats number 1, the Wizard Ace edition cover done by Travis Charest. And mine, actually, I didn't even realize it, is signed by Scott Williams. I don't know if you can see it there. Oh, no, it's gold ink. But yeah, so it's a really cool cover, and it's got one of those acetate covers. So definitely check that out. We're gonna go with my favorite Superman, Majestic. Plus, Joe Casey, Ed McGuinness. You really can't go wrong with that. I mean, Joe Casey and Ed McGuinness. This is Mr. Majestic #1. This was the first Majestic solo series. And it's very, very, if you like old Silver Age Superman stuff, it has a lot of very Silver Age Superman vibe to it. There's one point where, I don't want to spoil the series, but he has to move a planet. So he does super speed science to learn everything and figure out how to move a planet without it breaking apart in the process. So
if it was written by Gail Simone, she would have compared the planet to a breadstick.
Yes, and she would have just called Alejandro over. Then we will go with Amazing 397, because what we need is blonde, big titty Doc Ock. Because
they always did it better back in the day.
That's exactly a Doc Ock I could get behind.
This was back whenever they were doing they were swapping out all of Spider-Man's villains with race and gender swapped versions. And the Doc Ock replacement this is one of the two, because there was also a short-haired brunette one, and then there was the blonde big titty one. But it's Mark Bagley, so whatever. And then finally, this one. All right, so Uncanny X-Men 260. This is, now mine is obviously very, very pretty, and it's a 9/8. But this was the issue that proves that going through the Siege Perilous does not remove Roma's gift to the X-Men. So there are still 8 X-Men out there that should be invisible to any form of electronic surveillance, including computer records of them. Even if you see them and then you just type in I saw Wolverine the other day, it auto deletes. So because this one, after this is after Dazzler comes out of the Siege Perilous, and she can't be seen on the surveillance, but they know that there's somebody there. They can't, the surveillance can't identify, can't figure out who it is. And it's like a smart home alien tech AI that Lila Cheney had on her beach house. And even then, it didn't know that it was Dazzler. It couldn't see her. It just saw that there was something causing an interruption. But this is actually a really cool issue, mostly because it deals with like a Dazzler had a stalker, and from the abort, and it references like the it's kind of meta in the fact that it references the aborted Dazzler movie, because if y'all remember back when they gave Dazzler a solo title and it was like a direct market exclusive book and all that shit, they were actually planning to make a Dazzler movie. Marvel was trying to do that back in the 80s. So this kind of references the fact that that movie never happened. And now it acts like there's actually a cut of it somewhere, or it had been worked on. But yeah, nope, Psycho fan issue. So it's good. It's fun.
So there we go.
There's my recommendations.
Thank you to everybody. Hope everyone had a fun time talking about all the best comic books out there. I think we had some good times here. And we'll be back next week. Really appreciate everybody, and I will see you around the bend.